gonna backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. Fast ego, how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going, give you something you can talk about. Throwing all the good vibes out the window. Somebody come hold my cup, please. A squirrel is acting up. Seriously though, do you think it's a medical condition? Maybe it's demons, I really don't know. She really acting up. They ain't right. Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine Wednesday, April 1st? I will let you know you can expect absolutely no April Fool's jokes from me. I do not like April Fool's Day. I do not like pranks, and I do not like practical jokes as a general rule. Okay, hold on. I need to change some settings here. Okay. So how are y'all doing today? Hi, hello. Hello. Okay, so today's episode is welcome to the show. We're live. Today's episode is a little bit different. Yeah, I don't do April Fools. I don't do that. I'm not a fool. April Fools is for fools, and girl, I'm not a fool. So y'all can have that. Anyway, it does kind of like all roads leads to clowns. Like it kind of does make me just remember about how all roads does lead to clowns, jesters, no matter what. And it's kind of like, you know, in keeping with that same thing is like all roads lead to Lord Cornberry. Okay, all roads leads to clowns, all roads leads to Lord Cornberry, and those two things are interconnected, of course, because both of those roads lead back to each other. Okay, I had a little clip in. I want to take it out. Okay. I'll do the outfit of the day now because I forgot to do it last time. What a shame. So, let me show y'all the outfit of the day. Okay, this little crop top. I'm in my springtime era. Ting. It's like a little. And then the skirt on the bottom has like. Okay, anyway, that's my outfit of the day. I'm tired of wearing clothes that's for winter, so I got my little crop top moment. Okay, y'all are going to ask where the shirt came from. Both of these things I got secondhand. This shirt is, both of them are 100% cotton. The shirt is from the brand Roxy, which I think is like at PacSun and stuff, but I got it from Poshmark. And the skirt is from like another brand that has 3 letters. I don't know. It's like AGT, OGT, G, IG, RQT. Made in India, like Prim. Anyway, okay, so that's my outfit of the day because I forgot last time. Yep, we're going to talk about Noem's husband. We are talking about her, him. Yeah, I don't know if Roxy still sells clothes or doesn't. Lake Monstrous. I did get this. I did get this secondhand, so it could be vintage or something. But I love the sleeves. See how they're like. I love a little wide sleeve. What would you call that? Bell sleeve? Flare sleeve? Girl, I don't know. Anyway, they do sell clothes still. Okay. We have Roxy everywhere in California. Yeah, it is very California. I'm homeschooling my kid, but listening to the tea on the side. Yes. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, no, I don't like polyester. I mean, I still will. I call it plastic clothes. I try to do cotton or linen or silk or wool only. I try to do that. You know, it's hard out here. All the clothes are plastic. So sometimes something's just cute and you just need it. But I do try to keep it to 100% cotton. And like when I get new stuff, I try to keep it to, you know, being all mostly cotton. Cotton is my favorite, but I'll wear wool, I'll wear linen, I'll wear silk. Natural is what I try to do. I try now. I haven't always been like that, but that's new. All the clothes are plastic and I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. I'm sick of it and I'm done with it. Okay. All right. So what do we need to talk about today? We're going to be talking about a lot of clowns are going to come up. It's going to be all roads leads to clowns. You're going to see what I mean, but where else to start but with the Ray J and Kim Kardashian legal saga? Yes, we will. Okay. So Let's catch up on what's going on with the Kim Kardashian Ray J legal saga. Can we? Can we? Yes. Oh, that's interesting. Birmingham Leprechaun said, shout out to the mods in the chat, by the way. Clothing with the right material, like 100% linen or 100% silk or cotton, they bring you energy. That's why hospitals used to use only linen sheets. Huh. Okay. They help you heal. Very, very interesting. The best start of April Fools is to start talking about actual fools. Amen. There it is. And I am like always, and I always have wanted to create a natural fabrics clothing line. And I do plan to do that still. So when I start making my clothes, I'll let y'all know. Okay. So starting with Ray J, the fool, and Kim Kardashian, the fool. Okay. So this is a Rolling Stone magazine article. Girl, they did her really dirty with that picture. That is Anyway, okay. So this article is actually from today. It says judge rejects Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner's request to keep S-tape settlement private. Oh, okay. What? Hold on. Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner wanted to keep the settlement for an S-tape private. But the judge said, no, we going to make it public. Y'all wanted to sue in court? Y'all wanted to sue in court, in my court? It's going to be public. Oh, okay. The article goes on. A bid by Kim Kardashian and her mother, Kris Jenner, to seal portions of a 2023 settlement agreement with Ray J has been denied, according to a court document filed 2 days ago, March 30th, and obtained by Rolling Stone. The reality TV stars that's Kris and Kim, had filed a motion earlier this month arguing that publicly disclosing portions of the deal, quote, would cause substantial harm to the Kardashians' privacy interests and undermine the strong public policy interest in favor of settlement agreements. Okay. But they didn't continue going through with their settlement agreement. They sued him. The judge ruled, it was Judge Stephen A. Ellis, that Kardashian and Jenner had failed to present any evidence that the deal and its terms being made public would cause them harm. The judge stated that their claims are too vague, speculative, amorphous, and unsupported to support the requested sealing order. The judge rejected Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner's motions to seal the settlement agreement, with the exception of one bank account number being partially redacted. So the judge is like, okay, you can get rid of the bank account number, I guess, if you must, but no, we're going to definitely be showing people the settlement agreement. Representatives for Kim Kardashian, Kris Jenner, and Ray J did not immediately respond to Rolling Stone's request for comment on Tuesday. Ray J, whose legal name is William Ray Norwood Jr., and Kim Kardashian dated in the early 2000s and appeared together in an S tape recorded in 2003. And then it wasn't released till like 4 or so years later in 2007 by Vivid Entertainment. Okay, so they dated in the early 2000s. They made a tape in 2003. And then in 2007, that's when it came out. The tape came out. The tape's release came shortly before the premiere of Keeping Up with the Kardashians in 2007. So really, they launched not only the whole show, but basically the entire family became famous off of the tape. And you see, it wasn't like, oh, it was recorded and then they released it 5 minutes later. No. It was years. It was years and years later. I'm trying to fix this. Years and years later, finally. And it was right before their show came out. Vivid Entertainment has long said it obtained the video legally from a third party. In October last year, that's 2025, Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner sued Ray J for defamation, accusing him of having fabricated claims that the women should be subjects of a federal racketeering investigation because he sought to harass and disparage Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian while simultaneously reviving his own fading notoriety. The following month, according to People magazine, Ray J countersued Kris and Kim, alleging they breached a $6 million settlement agreement over his and Kardashian's tape by discussing the tape again on their Hulu series. Okay, so he sued them back. Okay, he sued them in November. So they sued him in October. Then in November, he sued them back. Why did he sue them back? Well, because there was some type of settlement agreement over the tape. But the family had, talked about the tape still over and over again. And so he sued them. Most recently, Kim Kardashian addressed Ray J's claim that Kim and Kris conspired to release the infamous S tape. Kim said, quote, his claim that I had a plan with my mother and others to seal a plan. Okay. His claim, this is a quote from Kim Kardashian, quote, his claim that I had a plan with my mother and others to release an S tape, defraud the public, and file a fake lawsuit against the beep company that released it to create buzz is a lie. Kardashian wrote this in a sworn declaration filed this month, or just this past month in March. Quote, my family and I are not part of a criminal enterprise. We have not conducted racketeering activity, nor have we profited from racketeering activities, as Ray J, the defendant, claims. Okay, so the judge said, okay, that's all fine and good, but we're definitely going to be letting the public see and know about the settlement agreement. The judge is kind of like, you want to come in my courtroom, you want to make this a public issue, then we're going to have to make it a public issue. And me personally, I have been on the defense side as well, of, a sort of similar defamation claim that's being made here. That I supposedly, the person who sued me, as y'all know, lost miserably and embarrassingly over and over and over again. Did not win one thing. Those people came at me with all they had. They even had fake liars, faking declarations and writing fake lies into the court, and still could not win a court battle. Okay. But you know what they did win? Getting me to have to pay a lot of money. So I have linked my Cash App, my PayPal in the description box below. I have formed my entity LLC for this channel. I have my monetization, in the works, but it still is pending and all of that. And I am kind of taking a little bit of a financial hit this month, and I still owe all these legal bills. I might be going into appeals next month. Yeah, April, May. Yeah, next month. Well, I'm already in appeals. We already had to file stuff, but there may be oral arguments. If there are oral arguments, I'll let y'all know where they're going to be and when, if you want to come peacefully, quietly appear. I can't make any promises that I'll be talking to anybody. I'll probably be stressed out and aggravated and, just hearing the cash register, like rack up all the legal bills in my head, but I'll keep y'all updated. Anyway, so what else? All right. So Kim Kardashian has decided to bring this into a court that's public, and very much like my case when I was sued, people make stuff public by bringing it to court. So then it becomes a public record. And the judge seems to be kind of, I can't get this to stay. My hair is like too fine to hold this butterfly up. On that side. Okay. Anyway, so all roads leads to clowns. Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to sue in public court. They wanted to sue for their public reputation, but they did not want the public to see, for some reason, all of the things that we needed to be able to see. And this is going on also with somebody who is also represented by the Kardashians' lawyer, and that is also going on in the Live Nation trial. So I guess I shouldn't say that exactly, because the Live Nation trial, they are represented not by Alex Spiro, but Alex Spiro does, as we know, represent Jay-Z, and did he also represent Megan Thee Stallion? Anyway, he represents the Kardashians too. And it's like Live Nation. And again, I just want to be very clear. Jay-Z is not, from what I understand, like the owner or anything of Live Nation. I just think he is somehow, through his businesses, affiliated with Live Nation. But they're trying in court right now to keep all kind of stuff secret and private from the public over there in the Live Nation trial in the Southern District of New York. The federal case has been dropped and released as against Live Nation, but the states, many states, I think 30 of them, are still going forward, and they're trying to keep things from the public. Shout out to and thank you to American Hero Inner City Press, who is filing stuff day and night. He's up around the clock trying to file to have this stuff open to the public, and I just wanted to let y'all know that that was going on. A shout out to Cele Cruz. Good morning, gorgeous. Love your face. Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm still trying to kind of like get used to this lighting. I think like I'm seeing myself in the monitor. I think I will still need to move the lighting a little bit, but I think it's getting better. Thank you. Thank you. Sweet REMs says, loving the new show. Thank you. And thank y'all so much for the subscribers. It was actually during my last live stream that we hit 5,000 subscribers on this channel, and that would be within the first month. Maybe we can get to 10,000 within the first month. So do me a favor, make sure you look down, make sure you're subscribed. Sometimes people get unsubscribed. Sometimes people would have subscribed and then they got unsubscribed. Okay. So speaking of clowns, girl, the last time I was on here, we talked about the Freemasons. Okay. Remember the Freemasons in France, the French Freemason Lodge, and they are out there trying to, they're being charged criminally for like running a hit squad or something, killing people and stuff. So I don't know if that happened or didn't. They're in trial right now, but this is something I came across on Twitter in relation to that, or, you know, along those same lines. This guy Gray, he says, speaking of Masonic lodges being accused of running hit squads. Okay, that's kind of specific. Out of Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, Lord. All roads leads to Brentwood. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember the all roads leads to Brentwood. Who's here from the OG, very first original 6 years ago Britney days? When every time we would look into Lou Taylor and her businesses, it would come up that the whatever it was, 200, whatever it was, circle. I don't even remember it now. It was like 200 something circle Brentwood. Oh my God, what was it? Where's Birmingham Leprechaun? Oh no, my Cash App link is broken. Oh no. Hold on. Let me address that instantaneously. Hold on. Wait, what was the 6 for? What did I say 6? I said put a 6 in the chat. Hold on. Cash App. Oh, I have $35 in here. Somebody must have sent me some money. It's $ surprise witness. So I will put it up here. Hold on. I need to go, Lord. This is my Cash App name. Gray is Emma's partner from the Imagination podcast. He has an amazing, shocking testimony. Okay, interesting. Okay, the one Amber provided worked. Okay, here y'all go. There you go. There's the Cash App right there. And Amber TSW did just put it in the chat as well. Maybe I should, I don't know what else to do here. Let's see. Hold on. Let me go to this. Because if y'all, any little dollar, any little $5 really does count. I have not made a single penny off of a single video that I've made here. And it's like, 15, 25, however many hours I've been over here. Some of y'all have sent me a little donation here and there, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, hold on. Let me go here. Here and there, and I really... Okay, I just pinned the Cash App link. That works. Okay. So let's get back to this here. Okay. So speaking of Masonic hit squads and speaking of Nashville, the web is webbing. Sure is. Sure is. Okay. Speaking of Masonic lodges being accused of running hit squads, out of Nashville, Tennessee, the Royal Order of Jesters, all roads leads to clowns. The Royal Order of Jesters were farming out personal hits through the clandestine services. When I was posted at Hunter Field, a black site setup amidst Iran-Contra scandals, I was tasked with a termination order of a random farmer who I was advised was on the domestic terror list. It turned out that Horace Johns, Royal Order of Jesters, he looks like a jester. I mean, this freaking guy looks like a jester. He was a Royal Order of Jester member, a law professor, a land commissioner, and much more. And others were using government letterhead to fake eminent domain along the already defunct plans for the 840N loop, forcing purchases using a strategically named entity that sounded officially government but was not. A farmer caught on, and that was that. There is so much more. Okay, so I'm assuming this has to be the jester. I mean, like, listen, there are archetypes and there are stereotypes. Sometimes they're harmful and sometimes they're for a reason. Tell me this guy doesn't look like he would be in the Royal Order of Jesters. What's the Royal Order of Jesters, you might be wondering. You may not have researched this before. So let me just, me and my editor at BJ Investigates, we have researched the Royal Order of Jesters. Okay, all roads leads to clowns. Let's go to the Wikipedia page. And I like to go to the Wikipedia because then it's like, look, I'm not going to a conspiracy theory site. Okay. I'm not going to the conspiracy theory site. Yeah, I'm awaiting monetization. Yeah, I am awaiting monetization. It's processing and all of that right now. So it just takes a little bit of time. They have to approve it. I actually had to set up a whole entity, an LLC. It was like a bunch of stuff, and that costs money. So it's okay. It's just part of it. And everything I need will come to me as soon as I need it. Don't worry. If y'all don't have Cash App or PayPal or whatever, no problem. Thank you so much, Just Sarah, for sending a Cash App. Thank you. Okay, so I like to use Wikipedia because then it's not like, oh, she's on alexjones.com or, even CNN or whatever. It's like, look, this is Wikipedia. The Royal Order of Jesters is a Masonic male fraternal organization allowing only Shriners in good standing to join. So there's quite literally levels to this. Okay, there's levels. As you know, the square and compass is the Freemason logo, okay, the part of a series on Freemasonry. The original meeting resulting in the Order of Jesters was held in 1911 by Shriners. Do y'all know what Shriners are? When you go to the Mardi Gras parade and there's the Shriners, they're there and you're like, what do these guys even do? They like have those hats. Let me show y'all. These guys, you ever seen these guys? They do a lot of children's hospitals, which freaks me out. Like the little clown cars. They're at a parade. We've seen these. These are all over the place. We've seen these at Mardi Gras parades our whole lives. So these are Shriners. Okay, so once you're in the Shriners, which is also a part of the Freemason group, once you're in the Shriners, then you can perhaps go into the Royal Order of Jesters. It's a higher rank. Okay, so in the captain's office, Aloha Temple, the first one was in Hawaii. Noble A.M. Ellison is the last name of that judge in the Ray J case. I mean, these people are all related. That's my opinion. Noble A.M. Ellison of San Francisco, California, was elected the leader and so-called director of that original jester group. It was called a caste, like a caste system. Hello. They had 13 members. It was later formally organized in 1917 at an informal meeting. How is it formally organized at an informal meeting? I do not know. The official website of the Royal Order of Jesters describes itself as the following. Okay, so this is them. This is their website. Okay. Quote, whereas most Masonic bodies are dedicated to charity. Yeah, I mean, according to who, girl? The Royal Order of Jesters is a fun degree. I feel like Steve-O is in this. That's my conspiracy theory, that Steve-O and the other jackass guys are in the Royal Order of Jesters. That's just my opinion. Based on nothing. It's just like, I just pulled it out of thin air, but it has this mirth. Yeah, mirth. Look, mirth is king. Look. Okay, so this is what their website says. Whereas most Masonic bodies are dedicated to charity, the Royal Order of Jesters is a fun degree with absolutely no serious intent. Okay, and that's why we get them doing this. They're just beep, beep, boop, booping around. The motto of the Jesters is, quote, mirth is king. So what is mirth? You might be wondering, what is mirth? I'm pretty sure it's like cheer and joy and laughing. Let me see. Mirth definition. Amusement. Okay. See why I think like Steve-O's in this? Amusement is king, especially expressed in laughter. So laughing and being amusing and being amused is king to these people. Okay. Sufficient to give voice to the purpose of the organization. The Royal Order of Jesters believe that there are times after work and dedication to family and mankind when everyone should remember to laugh and appreciate the good work one has done. I don't mind this as a truth, okay? But listen to this. Like, do you see how different like what they say they are is from what's actually going on? The Royal Order of Jesters is a Masonic body dedicated to having fun and having no serious intent. Look, this is a quote, absolutely no serious intent. Mirth is king, gives purpose to the organization. The Royal Order of Jesters believes there are times after work and dedication to family and dedication to mankind when everyone should remember to laugh and appreciate the good work one has done. That's a great mission statement and motto. It's so good, I might even consider joining if they let girls join. But as it turns out, maybe they're doing a little bit more than just that, y'all. Oh my God, you're kidding me. Sleepy Koala Army said my pawpaw was a clown at the Shriner Circus when I was a kid. At his funeral, a bunch of Masons showed up, did a private ritual, and gave my mom a maroon jacket and a vice president badge. No. No, I can tell you one thing. No Shriner showed up to my daddy's funeral. In some cultures, Gesundheit said in some cultures, calling someone a jester is still an insult. Jesters are entertainers and not highly thought of. Interesting. So Stacy said, so like comedians? And look at the humiliation they have to go through. Katie Williams talking about having to wear the dress, refusing Diddy after all that. Anyway, so the icon of the order is the Billiken. Y'all know what a Billiken is? This thing. A Cabbage Patch mutated baby. Now, I have a separate side conspiracy theory. I'm not going to get into my conspiracy theory so early in the episode, girl. We are 28 minutes in. Okay, but Billiken is the quote God. Okay, I don't believe any of this is God. Fully, like God is universal one. God is not this thing, but doesn't it kind of look like a Cabbage Patch baby, like this thing on top of its head? It's got these little gnomey little troll ears. Billiken is the god of things as they ought to be. So this is like the icon mascot for the Royal Order of Jesters. Billiken is a charm doll created by an American art teacher and illustrator, Florence Pretz of Kansas City, Missouri, who is said to have seen the mysterious figure in a dream. Girl, that's a demon. I rebuke. Ain't no Billiken coming to me in my dream. I tell you that. It is believed that Pretz found the name Billiken in Bliss Carman's 1896 poem, Mr. Moon, a song of the little people. See, I just be looking at all that. I'm like, oh, what's Mr. Moon, Song of the Little People? Hold on, let me look that up. I never looked that up. I didn't get that deep. Oh, moon. When you coming down on the hilltop, down in the glen. We used to have a moon. Do y'all remember? Oh, Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden Sun. Remember that one? Down the hilltop, down in the glen, out in the clearing to play with the little men. Mr. Moon, when you coming down. Oh, Mr. Moon, hurry up your stumps. Don't you hear Bullfrog calling to his wife and old black cricket a wheezing at his fife? Hurry up your stumps and get on your pumps, Mr. Moon, when you coming down. Oh man, girl, this song long. Okay, anyway, this is, they trying to tell me that's a lady? No way, that's a man. Okay, anyway, all right. So we're on Mirth. What else are we doing here? Okay, Shriners. We're back in, okay, so this is a Billiken. That's the Jesters mascot or whatever. The order is very secretive and it holds an anti-publicity policy. So that pretty much just tells me like whatever they're actually really doing, we're never going to really know. For example, a website made by one of its members was removed after the intervention of the National Court of the Order. The primary reason behind this was the desire for the board to minimize public exposure or public access to jester information. And they put jester in a capital J, girl. The membership section, local courts are limited to 13 initiates yearly, and memberships are by invitation only. So you cannot apply to be in the Jesters. You have to get an invitation. Prospective members must be a Shriner and they have to be a master mason. Okay, so we look at these clowns and these jesters and we think, oh, like they're the lower tier class of masons. No, baby girl, they got to first become a master mason, and then maybe then they become a Shriner. Then maybe they can become a jester. All right. Prospective members are usually selected due to their commitment to secrecy. Okay, so that's how they pick who's going to be in it, who can keep a secret. They're usually highly active or highly ranked within the Shriners organization and within Freemasonry. So these are high-ranking officials. These jesters asking to join will almost certainly result in an individual never being accepted. The Royal Order of Jesters has a museum in Indiana, if anybody wants to go. On display are items related to the order. There are also items that belong to William Shakespeare. Why? Because of the theater, right? The Masons, all the world's a stage. It's putting masks on, playing characters, deceit, trickery. This is something that they apparently value. Other historical people who focused on humor in their works. In 2008, 4 officials from Western New York, including a state Supreme Court Justice, Ronald Tills, who retired, 2 police officers and a 2 retired police officers and a law clerk were convicted of human trafficking for transporting an S worker to a Royal Jesters event, or for a Royal Order of Jesters event. According to the federal prosecutors, the jesters had employed strippers and S workers for one of their parties, and some of them were illegally transported over state lines for a jester event. The FBI has investigated these cases. Okay, so that is the Wikipedia page for the Royal Order of Jesters. And so we're looking here at the Royal Order of Jesters. This guy, Gray, somebody said they had heard of him before. Before entering academia, Dr. Johns was a trial lawyer, staff attorney for the Tennessee Department of the Treasury, and assistant general counsel for American General Life Insurance Company. These people are high ranking. He was former editor of the Jones College something magazine, Tennessee Business. He is the ranking member of the Department of Accounting and is in his 33rd year at MTSU. This is his academic background. Vanderbilt, George Peabody College, Syracuse, George Peabody College. So yeah, I mean, apparently these guys are accused of doing hits on people. These Masons, it's like, okay, so it's not just the French ones, it's also the high-ranking ones that made it into the Jesters. Professor and attorney Professor and attorney Dr. Horace Edward Johns, Jr., JD, MA, MBA, PhD. He received his undergraduate degree, his law degree, his master's degree, and his doctoral degree from Vanderbilt University, and his MBA from Syracuse. He specializes in business law, 30 plus years of teaching experience. He is the ranking member of the Department of Accounting at Middle Tennessee State University. Before entering academia, he was a trial lawyer, and we know how they are. Staff attorney for the Tennessee Department of Treasury, assistant general counsel of American General Life Insurance Company, and he's the married father of 4 children. He's the son of the late Horace Edward Johns of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and his wife Dorothy, the grandson of Harry. And his wife. He's the grandson of Harry Ransom Johns of Rutherford Co. And his wife, Queen Victoria Baskin, his wife, Queen Victoria Baskin. Girl, anyway, I don't feel like reading his family tree. But yeah, look at this. It turns out he's a member. Okay, look. This guy, Gray, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not. I wasn't there. He said, but speaking of Masonic lodges being accused of running hit squads. So now that y'all have all that background information, let me read it again. Speaking of Masonic lodges being accused of running hit squads, out of Nashville, Tennessee, the Royal Order of Jesters were farming out personal hits through the clandestine services. When I was posted at Hunter Field, a black site setup amidst Iran-Contra scandals, I was tasked with a termination order of a random farmer who I was advised was on the domestic terror list. So there was a hit put out. Turned out it was this guy, Horace Johns, and others using government letterhead to fake eminent domain along the already defunct plans. Maybe termination order is like the guy had to get move. Maybe it wasn't to unalive him, but they were forcing purchases using strategically named entity that sounded like a government entity, but was not. So in case you don't know what eminent domain is, just to give you a brief overview, it's when the government can force you to sell your property. So the Jesters were basically running like a RICO. The Mason Jesters were trying to force people to sell their property. But one of these farmers caught on, and that was that. There is so much more, but I thought that might be interesting. Yeah, I'm interested. That's a conspiracy theory I'm actually interested in. Now, all of those people, Horace and all of them, are innocent until proven or unless proven guilty. I don't know these people. I'm just reading a tweet. Okay, take it with a grain of salt. But I want to now move on to a separate but kind of related topic. And that is, what's her name? Kristi Noem's cross-dressing husband. Okay, he's bimbo-fied. All right. So, oh man, this is like not a good, like, oh man, I actually have a bunch of opinions on this one. Not a good look, I'll say that. Not a good look, I'll say that. But let's just go ahead and start here. We'll just read straight from the Daily Mail exclusive. This came out, I think, yesterday. Yeah. This news broke yesterday. Secret double life of Kristi Noem's cross-dressing husband, Brian. The pouting, busty bimbo photos and trove of explicit messages. Kristi Noem. So who's Kristi Noem? She was the former head of the Department of Homeland Security. This is her. You've probably seen her before. She looks like she has the same dead-eyed stare as, what's her name, Erica Kirk. Christy Lynn Arnold Noem, born November 30th, 1971, is an American politician who served as the 8th United States Secretary of Homeland Security from 2025 to 2026, a member of the Republican Party. She also was the 33rd governor of South Dakota. She represented the district in the House of Representatives for 8 years. During her tenure at the Department of Homeland Security, her immigration policies generated controversies, particularly the actions of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Born in Watertown, South Dakota, she began her career in South Dakota. She gained national attention during COVID for opposing mask mandates in favor of voluntary measures. She has conservative positions on domestic issues. She's a rancher. So she's like a good old girl. Okay. She's one of these down home type of Republican type of people. No shade, no hate. I love somebody got a ranch. Okay. Shout out to the ranchers. Her initials are literally Klan. Okay. That's interesting. But recently she started to come under fire heavily for the ICE deportations and the ICE actions within American, borders, and also kind of like targeting people who were already American citizens, maybe even natural born birthright citizens, things like that. And so, she faced a lot of backlash, and I think that the backlash that she faced includes this information coming out. Okay, her husband is today, and that was yesterday, revealed as a secret cross-dresser who dons gigantic fake breasts and pink hot pants to chat with online fetish models. While his wife has operated at the highest echelons of government, handling matters of national security in her recent role as Secretary of Homeland Security, Brian Noem, 56 years old, has been dressing up and paying adult entertainers to talk dirty. The Daily Mail has reviewed hundreds of messages involving 3 women from the bimbofication scene, where corn performers transform themselves into real-life Barbie dolls by pumping colossal amounts of saline into their bodies. Mr. Noem, this is the husband, has lavished praise on these women's surgically enhanced bodies, confessed his lust for huge, ridiculous boobs, and even made indiscreet remarks about his 34-year marriage to Miss Noem. The investigation of Daily Mail says that they can exclusively disclose. National security experts consulted by the Daily Mail said his brazen behavior could have left the 54-year-old MAGA favorite, that's his wife, who oversaw ICE's aggressive crackdown until she was removed from her position, vulnerable to blackmail. Okay, so this is why I really wanted to cover this story, because do I really give a flying rat's behind what Kristi Noem's husband is doing with bimbo corn stars? Nope. I don't care at all. Do I really even think it's actually like nationally like important that we all know? I guess I could be convinced, but like kind of no. Like, I mean, there's other like way more important stuff for sure. But I think the problem is twofold. Number one, hypocrisy. I do think both, just so y'all know, I'm not a Republican. I'm also not a Democrat. I have identified as both before in my past. Like I've identified as a Republican before when I was younger. I've identified as and said that I was and was registered as a Democrat before. Sitting here today and for the last several years, I do not affiliate with any political party, and I do not affiliate specifically with any religion and any specific politician. Okay. I don't affiliate with it. I like to take things as they come. I abstained from voting in the last presidential election because I think they were both PDF files who couldn't keep their hands off of other people's bodies. That's what I really believed. And that was why I didn't vote for either one of them. It wasn't nothing to do with the policy. It had nothing to do with anything. I cannot vote for someone who I firmly believe in my heart is a predator. I just can't. And I think most people who find themselves in politics, especially the ones that don't get canceled and ousted, are predators. I do think that. But that's neither here nor there. I only say that to let y'all know, like, I'm not picking on this man because he's a Republican or not a Republican, or if he was a Democrat or whatever. I do think both sides, and especially with respect to this specific issue of like sexual morality, or you want to call it purity, certainly fidelity, like not cheating on your wife and stuff. It does kind of seem like the Republican Party does kind of like to use that type of messaging, like, don't cheat on your wife, don't do depraved sexual things or whatever. And it seems more so like on this one particular issue, more the Democratic Party would be more in favor of like live and let live, mirth is king. Let's have OF for everybody. Let's not have to check any kids' age to get on the OF or whatever. Like, I definitely do think that there is something to be said for the hypocrisy, right? Like, Kristi Noem is out here acting this way and that way. Meanwhile, look what her husband's doing right under her nose in her own house. Very interesting. Yeah. Two parties, same government, signing their paychecks. Indeed. And who are they signing their paychecks from? The money from who? Us. So they work for us, but they forget. Anyway, the other reason I really wanted to bring this up, the main reason I really wanted to bring this up, is this part right here. National security experts consulted by the Daily Mail said that his brazen behavior could leave his wife open or vulnerable to blackmail. And you're going to see why that is as soon as we scroll. If you haven't seen the pictures yet, girl, I mean, the people who's got their kids in the room, you might want to not let them look at the screen. You might want to let them look at the screen. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your kids, but I mean, this is something else here. It's safe for work. It's not like it's showing anything or anything like that. It definitely doesn't violate any terms of service or anything. I mean, it's just right here on a Daily Mail article, but national security experts consulted said that his behavior was brazen and it could have left his wife open to blackmail. Okay. So before we scroll even to look at these pictures, I just want to let you sit with that for a second. Like, when your leaders themselves or the people close to them and their family and their households, and I say they're our leaders, there are leaders, really. When our leaders are doing things that could be considered to be embarrassing, humiliating, etc., they are susceptible to be controlled. It's what you call compromised. Okay, compromised. Now, a lot of times, these people are compromised on purpose. You ever heard of a honeypot? You know what a honeypot is? Let me just remind you. Foreign spy honeypot. Honey trapping. Let's go back to Wiki. Honey trapping is a practice involving the use of romantic or sexual relationships for interpersonal, political, or monetary purposes. These political purposes can include espionage. The honeypot or the trap involves making contact with an individual who has information or resources required by a group. The trapper, okay, so this is the predator, the person's trying to trap you, will then seek to entice the target into a false relationship, which may or may not include actual physical involvement, in which they can glean information or influence over the target. The term honey trap is used when dating sites are used to gain access to a victim. Private investigators are often employed to create honeypots by wives, husbands, and other partners, usually when an illicit romantic affair is suspected of the target. Occasionally, the term may be used for the practice of creating an affair for the purpose of taking incriminating photos for use in blackmail. A honey trap is used primarily to collect evidence on the subject of the honey trap. Honey trapping is also used in getting a new user addicted to illegal drugs and also for drug smuggling. Honey trapping has a long history of use in espionage. That's like spying, the Cold War, Russian spies. During the Cold War, female agents called Majno girls were used by the KGB of the USSR to spy on foreign officials by seducing them. The name comes from the Russian word, which means it is permitted, as these agents were allowed to breach regulations restricting Russian contact with foreigners. In 2009, the British is it M15 or M15, MI5, whatever, distributed this is like the British CIA, distributed a 14-page document to hundreds of British banks, businesses, and financial institutions titled The Threat from Chinese Espionage. It described a wide range of Chinese efforts to blackmail Western business people over sexual relationships. The document explicitly warns that Chinese intelligence services are trying to cultivate long-term relationships and have been known to exploit vulnerabilities such as sexual relationships to pressure individuals to cooperate with them. Okay. So when the national security experts, and it just makes me, the thing is, it's hard to talk about these things without it makes it seem like you being racist or something, but like it is kind of weird. Like Mitch McConnell's Chinese sister-in-law got trapped in her Tesla and the Tesla drove into a pond and then she couldn't get out and she died. Like there's just some weird stuff like this happens. And it's not just Chinese. I think it's a Russian. I think it's Iranian. I think it's Jews. I think it's not Jews. Excuse me. Israeli, specifically Jews. It's all the probably Great Britain, probably all of them. They probably all do. America, would they probably send honeypots out to? And then that brings in like bigger so-called conspiracy theories where, we had like Project MK Ultra in the United States that supposedly is no longer being done. And I'm sure they're not calling it MK Ultra anymore. They probably calling it something else, but they'll train up these things like beta SEX, kittens. And the beta S kittens are basically like in the conspiracy theory, right? It could be true, could be not true. I don't know. I kind of tend to believe it might be, but they're kind of like training and torturing these S kittens to be espionage collecting spies. And they say, in some conspiracy theorists, will go so far as to say like the famous people in our, country who are put up as being famous, they're the most high level slave kittens because they're the ones who, foreign leaders or whatever will want to fraternize with, and then they'll go and collect data or information or whatever. So we're kind of getting more into the like unproven or, murkier conspiracy theory, gray area waters of things. But like, it is not a conspiracy theory at all whatsoever that these honey traps exist. That is not a conspiracy theory. And they can be used for political purposes, but they could also be used for, anything, blackmail purposes, trying to get money, trying to get somebody to sell a part of their business. And you can imagine that people like Kristi Noem's husband would have a very strong interest in not letting this stuff get out. Let's say it wasn't a honey trap or a honey pot. Maybe it wasn't. Let's say it wasn't. Still, his brazen behavior leaves him and his entire family susceptible to blackmail. Because when you become the leader of the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, especially whenever you are constantly in the news, constantly being criticized, it starts to become like, all right, people are going to look, people are going to push around for soft spots. And sometimes, like if you're me, they don't find anything. They have to have people come make shit up. Sometimes people have had like, evidence planted at their house, hits put out on them, just different stuff. But sometimes they can really hit you where it hurts by just embarrassing the out of you. How can you embarrass the out of someone? Well, look at this. Look at this. That's balloons. That is balloons the man has put in his shirt. Now, I'm pretty sure all of us as kids put some balloons in our shirts and ran around. Okay, so what? Who cares? But it does seem like a lot of people care because look at him. He's got his lips puckered. It looks like he might be wearing some type of gloss or chapstick. And this is supposed to be an all-American family man. He was sitting in court supporting his wife in hearing just recently. I'm not one, Pink Pepper said, I'm not one to kink shame, but I mean, mm, mm, mm. It also has a lot to do with how you put yourself out there in the first place, right? Like if a picture like this came out of, I don't know, Ethan Klein or something, people would probably be like, haha, like who cares? It's kind of like when you put yourself out there as the serious, stern family man who's been married for 34 years or whatever to this, all-American girl and they're ranchers and they're this and they're that. It's kind of like this doesn't actually add up to what the image he's been trying to portray. The national security experts go on, quote, if a media organization can find this out, you can assume with a high degree of confidence that a hostile intelligence service also knows this as well. And this is according to CIA officer Mark Polymeropoulos. And again, I don't know why they let Greeks become CIA officers. I don't know. But they say former CIA officer. I think that's fake. I don't think there's such thing as a former CIA officer. I think once you're in, you're in. Just like the Jesters and the Masons and the Crips and the Bloods. Once you're in, you're in. There ain't no former. That's my opinion. In a selfie shared with one of his online contacts, Mr. Noem, an insurance mogul, can be seen squeezing into a flesh-colored crop top and skin-tight pink shorts. The father of three appears to have stuffed 2 balloons inside his shirt to resemble titties, positioning the knots to look as though, girl, please, that is too much. Look at him in the hearing. Look. This was last month. He supported his wife by sitting dutifully behind her at a congressional hearing, scrutinizing her aggressive immigration enforcement tactics. So she's in there, doing and just looking at this picture, it's kind of like gives it a whole new meaning, a whole new feeling, a whole new vibe. Cause really, y'all don't come for me because this isn't my beliefs, but one of the beliefs of, the Republican Party, which is completely infested with evangelical Christians, which I can speak about and on because I grew up as one. Really, truly, women are not supposed to be the forefront of their household. That is their rule. Okay. That's not my rule. Okay. Think about the Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, relationship or whatever. They would do podcasts together and Charlie Kirk would be like, women should not focus on the money of a household at all. Women should not even know about it. That should be 100% in the man's domain. I guess if he wants to ask her, he can take her opinion in. But, there's certain things that where it's like, these evangelicals and a lot of the Republican Party in general does think that like one man should be the head of the household. Everybody else has to fall in line. And okay, that's fine. Whatever. Like if people want to live like that in their house, that's fine. I live like that in my house. I'll tell you that. I am subservient to my man. I will tell you that. And it's not because he makes me. It's because I don't feel like worrying about that stuff. I don't feel like worrying about it and stressing about it. I love to leave it to him. So it's not because God said, it's just because I trust him. I love him. He is actually better than me at handling certain situations. I'll be done cuss somebody out and he won't. There's in my personal relationship. So I'm not trying to say it shouldn't be the case and people shouldn't think this, but I do think if you're going to have, one spouse be so front facing, so forward facing, so boss bitch, boss babe, head of DHS, deport all the illegals, and then here's her little cucky ass husband sitting back here with his little frown pout while she gets grilled. Like, this is an inversion of what the Republican Party is trying to preach in 2026. It is. I'm sorry if you don't agree with me. You don't have to. That's why I don't subscribe to either one of these degenerated parties. But I do because I want to, yeah. And he don't bother me when I come home with new curtains and a new pillow cover to put on the couch. He don't bother me about that. He's like, okay, I guess we have a new curtain, whatever. Like, I have my jurisdiction over here. This little room you're looking at right here is my jurisdiction. He leaves me alone in here. It's like, it's fine. I think that has to happen. Even if you just have a roommate, one person has to do certain things. The other person has to do other things. One person can't do it all. Some things have to be in people's jurisdiction. And it so happens that the Republican Party, as of 2026, has pushed this: men should be the ones that are in charge by default. Okay, fine. But then why isn't he sitting right here and she's sitting right there? It's kind of an inversion. It's kind of like the signs were there. If you you know what I mean, the signs were there. Anyway, that's them right there looking all American at the White House. I think that's the White House. Another photo showed the rancher and businessman wearing figure-hugging green leggings. Oh, boy. And a white top stretched out over two bulging orbs with his face clearly visible in both images. Mr. Noem pouted playfully at the camera, seemingly unconcerned that his online activity could pose security implications for his wife's position at the heart of the Trump administration. Text messages and WhatsApp messages revealed Mr. Noem was being repeatedly asked for money. Okay, you see how you could be being extorted? I'm not saying he was being extorted, but can't you see how, hey, send me an extra 100 and this won't end up on the Daily Mail. Oh, actually, I need another 1,000. Actually, now I need a Rolex. Actually, oh, well, I mean, I still have these pictures. You could see how it could start to become like a sextortion scheme. Bulging orbs, I cannot. His mean mugging now takes on a whole new meaning. Yeah, because his happy place is being bimbofied. Girl. Texts and WhatsApp messages revealed he was repeatedly asked for money during the 14 months his wife led the nation's largest federal law enforcement agency. He sent his secret roster of online acquaintances at least $25,000 via Cash App and PayPal. But when the payments were delayed or failed to materialize, the chats would quickly turn sour. Uh-oh. One of the women became so disgruntled, she posted about his behavior on social media before later deleting it. Jack Barsky, a former Soviet spy turned U.S. counterintelligence asset. Okay, this right here. Okay, so you mean current Soviet spy that y'all are too stupid to realize still works for Russia. Got it. Told the Mail the potential for blackmail was alarming. It's astounding that somebody whose spouse is at that level has that kind of bad judgment. There he is again, making a different face. Oh my girl. Oh my God. Girl. Girl, the CIA agent of 26 years agreed. Damaging information like this can be tantalizing for hostile intelligence service. They approach the person and say, if you work with us, we won't expose this. And if you don't work with us, we will expose this. That is espionage 101. I wonder if that's not why she was actually fired. What are y'all saying in the chat? Let me see what y'all are saying. People are laughing. Y'all are laughing. These are the people behind our country. Yes. Yep. hey. Hey. Stop. Girl. Sweet Potato said, I cannot stop laughing. Somebody said, Sarah said, I have never seen you speechless. Bimbo breach confirmed. LMAO. Girl, I can't. Oh boy. When the Daily Mail reached out to Brian Noem by telephone, he did not deny having explicit conversations or sharing photos of himself dressed as a woman. It was also put to him that he had made indiscreet comments about his wife, and he could have endangered national security by exposing her to the threat of blackmail. Yeah, he said. Okay, so he talked to the Daily Mail. He made comment. He said, I made no comments like that about my wife. He said, I made no comments like that would lead to that. I deny the second part. And then he hung up. Now, Kristi Noem, maybe she knew about this, maybe she didn't, but they're saying she is devastated. The family was blindsided by this, and they are asking for privacy and prayers. Oh, girl, they're going to need it. They are going to need the prayers. Kristi and Brian met in high school, married in 1992. Golly, they've been high school sweethearts. They met in 1992 and raised daughters Cassidy, Kennedy, and Booker. Girl, their kids are 31. The oldest is 31. Next one's 29. And then Booker is 23. Their marriage became the subject of intense speculation when the Daily Mail revealed her alleged years-long affair with, she's having an affair too, according to the Daily Mail, close advisor Corey Lewandowski in a 2023 expose. Miss Noem, girl, is he wearing her leggings or did he go out and buy? I mean, these are the things I wonder. Were y'all wondering this? I mean, is he wearing her clothes or did he at least go have the decency to go out and buy his own? Has to be hers, people are saying. Now, Kristi Noem, for what it is worth, she has denied that she's had an affair with this Corey Landowski, who's also in the Trump administration. But Brian Noem, this guy right here, we're looking at him, his wife, he supported her last month by sitting dutifully behind her at a congressional hearing scrutinizing her aggressive immigration enforcement tactics. Look at him right there. Oh my Lord. I bet you they'd give a lot to go back to a time when they could just pose right here like a normal family. The cameo backfired horribly when California Democrat Sidney Kamlager Dove asked the outgoing DHS secretary, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski? Kristi Noem did not issue an outright denial. She instead snapped back, I am shocked that we are going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee. But she didn't say no. The question was, did you have sexual relations with the guy, Corey Landowski? I'm shocked you're asking this. Okay, but did you? The vast trove of saucy texts, WhatsApp messages, and images obtained by the Daily Mail reveals that clean-cut Mr. Noem has his own share of secrets. Oh, his fetish was 3,000 cc plus boobs, according to one of the models who communicated extensively with him. Okay, so the foreign operative, the honey trap. Okay, got it. And this person agreed to describe their conversations to the Daily Mail. That's a reference to custom made. So what's the fetish he has is for custom made XXL implants that can hold more than 3,000 cubic centimeters of saline per breast, far greater than surgeons typically recommend. So he had a fetish for that. It was called bimbofication. People who modify their body to look like a doll, the Barbie look. His kink is for huge, huge, ridiculous boobs. And again, just to remind you, this is his wife. Mr. Noem got in contact with a model using the pseudonym Jason Jackson. So that was his fake name he would go by, complimenting her amazing curves and vowing to worship her like a goddess, according to messages seen by the Daily Mail. In texts and audio calls, the pair shared everything from mundane daily chit chat to spicy banter about her augmented chest. So he was kind of like having like an affair of sorts, it seems like. How are your boobs? He asked her. Would you go even bigger? She sent an array of topless selfies and lingerie shots. Jason, the name he went by, apparently felt relaxed enough to reciprocate with photos of himself wearing skimpy outfits and lopsided DIY titties. You turn me into a girl, he said. Should I put on leggings? No. No, you should not. You should log off, girl. You should log off. PayPal account belonging to Jason Jackson sent the woman regular deposits, typically between $500 and $1,000. She says he openly admitted to having a wife and family. He would say, I love my wife. I want to get better. And then he would disappear. But then he would come back and start again. Over time, the models began to figure out the real identity of their shadowy benefactor. A second woman told the Daily Mail she pocket dialed Jason and was astonished to hear a voicemail greeting saying, Noem Insurance, leave a message. A quick Google search pulled up photos of Kristi and Brian Noem. I was completely shocked, the model said. She said, I said, why are you doing this? I didn't think hot guys did this, the woman said. He said he didn't care. I thought you should care if your wife could lose everything she's ever worked for. So even the S workers, the honeypot S workers were like, dude, you are effing your wife. This is too much. You are screwed. Said log off. She needs to log off. Imagine catching your man in your leggings. To be honest, like that wouldn't even I wouldn't even be that concerned if I caught my man in my leggings because maybe it's cold. You know, you layer. He's got running leggings. He wears under shorts, you know, Nike Pro or whatever. I would be absolutely confused if I caught him in my shirt with two balloons up under it. That might concern me, but even still, I might be like, okay, whatever. Like, as long as you're not on freaking line talking to these girls, oh my God. Even the honeypots are like, this is too much. The second woman also read about Kristi's supposed affair, alleged by Daily Mail affair. I don't know if she had an affair or not. But like, when you look at you even look at the shoes, like really, truly, the signs are all there. Like, the signs are actually all there. If you just look at this, like she's the man, she's not the man. I'll say she's the boss clearly, and he's the cuck. Like it's obvious now that I know what I know. The second woman also read about Noem's alleged affair with Mr. Lewandowski, a longtime GOP operative who married a 911 widow in 2005 and has 4 children. Okay, wait. We got to rewind back to 9/11, 2001. There was an event, you know what it was, and people passed. One person that passed was Allison Hardy's husband. Allison Hardy is now a widow, and then she ends up married to Corey Lewandowski. I guess they have 4 children together. Maybe she already had 4 kids. But I guess now they're divorced, or maybe they're still together, and this one supposedly is having an affair with him. So they're all just, you know, having a giant DC orgy or something. I asked him about it, and his response was, I know there's nothing I can do about it. So the girl is like, oh, okay. The bimbo fetish girl is like talking to this man about his wife and saying, your wife is having an affair with this guy, right? And he's like, yeah, and there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, seriously, like he was a seriously compromised individual with very poor judgment. Very poor judgment. Whatever floats your boat. Like, I don't care. That's the thing about it too, to me, is like, I know I'm a little speechless and I know I'm a little flabbergasted, but really like the pictures that have been released are pretty tame compared to like anything your kids can just access on Roblox today. Okay. So the pictures themselves are relatively pretty tame. The man has balloons in his shirt. So what? It's more like the image that they tried to portray, you know, all while saying immigrants are a danger to the country and a danger to our society and a danger to the fabric of this and that. And it's like, well, hold on. Look what's going on in your house, real quick. One of them's cheating on the other one with somebody who's with a 911 widow, 9/11 widow. One of them's got bimbo-fied, got 3 or 4 bimbo-fied people that he's sending $25,000 to. I don't care if the man has a bimbo fetish. Barbie is pretty. Maybe that's why he thinks Barbie is pretty. You know what I mean? But like, I mean, I need to look up what the 3000cc. Hold on, let me do it off. If I can find something with like a shirt on. Okay, that is crazy. Okay. This is fully covered, you know, safe for work, you know, she's wearing a shirt, but this is insane. That is mutilating your body. Okay, that is a desecration and mutilation, in my opinion. Okay, anyway, but it's a free country. So back to this. He was talking about the affair to his bimbos. Okay, that is too much. Meanwhile, Ms. Noem and GOP operative Lewandowski have continued to appear alongside each other publicly, with him even appearing at Ms. Noem's side during her official trip to Guyana last week. Brian Noem appears to have curtailed his messaging around January of this year, just as his wife was overseeing the controversial deportation surge in Minneapolis. So right as she was pushing, and somebody actually died during one of those ICE encounters in Minneapolis during January of this year. That's whenever he stopped messaging with the bimbos, or it tapered off. Trump removed Noem from the cabinet 2 months later amid bipartisan criticism of her clumsy efforts to label the victims domestic terrorists. Insiders said the president was also furious. Okay, so Donald Trump was furious after Kristi Noem told Congress that he had approved a $220 million advertising campaign featuring her riding a horse at Mount Rushmore. Mark Wayne Mullen, a conservative senator from Oklahoma, has since replaced her at the DHS, while Noem became special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, an initiative created by Trump to strengthen international security in both North and South America. The newly created role, widely seen as a soft landing for her. So that's kind of like when you get like a condolences job, like a consolation job. That's a lot to carry. I know, girl. 2 people died in Minneapolis. Excuse me. Two people. Her back must really hurt. Agreed. In the newly created role, so it's a brand new role. They just invented it. She's supposed to liaise with Latin American governments to fight drug cartels. The Daily Mail ran the photos of Mr. Noem through a specialist software to check for any signs they had been generated by AI, but we found no evidence of digital tampering, with consistent lighting across the face, chest, fabric, and background. The telltale signs of edited or fake pictures, such as visible seams, artifacts, or background distortion, were not detected. The metadata suggests the pictures were taken in early 2025, so just last year, on an iPhone set to Central Time, consistent with Mr. Noem's South Dakota location. Demoted. That is crazy. Okay, that is crazy. So people are, of course, clowning them. This is apparently one of the pictures. And the dog. Somebody says the dog has me effing crying. I can't. Okay, so if you are, first of all, by itself, it is kind of funny. Like, the dog is like, what are you doing? But there's a story about a dog with this Kristi Noem lady. Okay, so this is an article from The Guardian from 2 years ago, from 2024. She was a vice president contender. She could have had JD Vance's job, okay, this time 2 years ago. Trump VP contender Kristi Noem writes of unaliving her dog and a goat in new book. South Dakota governor includes bloody tale in campaign volume and admits a better politician wouldn't tell the story here. And she's got her extensions, her clip-ins here. In 1952, as a Republican candidate for vice president, Richard Nixon stirred criticism by admitting that he received a dog, Checkers, as a political gift. In 2012, as the Republican presidential nominee, Mitt Romney was pilloried for tying a dog, Seamus, to the roof of the family car. What? He put his dog on the roof of the Mitt Romney. Oh my God. Isn't he a Mormon too? Mitt Romney was pilloried for tying his dog Seamus, to the roof of the family car for a cross-country trip. Girl. Oh my Lord. But in 2024, Kristi Noem, a strong contender to be named running mate, to be named the VP. She was going to be maybe the vice president. Has managed to go one further by admitting to unaliving her own dog. Quote, Cricket was a wire hair pointer, about 14 months old. The South Dakota governor writes in a new book, adding that the dog, a female, had an aggressive personality and needed to be trained to be used for hunting pheasant. What unfolds over the next few pages shows how that effort went very wrong indeed, and remarkably how Cricket was not the only domestic animal Noem chose to unalive one day in hunting season. In her book, No Going Back, The Truth on What's Wrong with Politics and How We Move America Forward, which was published in 2024, The Guardian got a copy. Like other aspirants to be Trump's vice president who have ventured into print, Noem offers readers a mixture of autobiography, policy prescriptions, and political invective aimed at Democrats and other enemies, all of it raw material for speeches on the campaign stump. She includes her story about the ill-fated Cricket. That's the dog's name. She says she told that story to illustrate her willingness in politics, as well as in South Dakota life, to do anything difficult, messy, and ugly. Oh, did she sissify her husband first, and then now he just goes online and gets his kicks off? Now I'm wondering. She'll do anything. Oh, that's crazy. She took Cricket, the dog, on a pheasant hunt with older dogs. She says she hoped to calm the young dog down and begin to teach her how to behave. Unfortunately, she ruined the hunt, went out of her mind with excitement, chased all the birds away, and had the time of her life. God forbid the dog have fun. She describes calling Cricket the dog, then using an electronic collar to attempt to bring her under control. Oh God, Hassan, don't somebody get Hassan Piker. Shocking, just like Kaya, Cricket and Kaya. Justice for Cricket, justice for Kaya. She then tried to use a shock collar on the dog. Nothing worked. Then on the way home after the hunt, as she stopped to talk to a local family, Cricket escaped and attacked the family's chickens, grabbing one chicken at a time, crunching it. Oh my God, she killed all the chickens. Wait a second. It's a pheasant hunting dog, is it not? It's trained to kill birds. They trained the dog to kill birds and then got mad when the dog started killing birds. Why didn't she keep the dog locked up? Lady Goldberry said female wire-haired pointers are known for being super intense with prey. Let me see. Wire-haired pointer. I'm assuming it's a hunting dog if it's got pointer in its name. This is what they look like. I might have seen these before. It's like a hunting dog. Oh, look how cute. That's cute. So anyway, in her book, she talks about the dog killing the chickens. Cricket, the untrainable dog, behaved like a trained assassin. Okay, so she was trained. When Noem finally grabbed Cricket, the dog whipped around to bite her. Then, as the chicken's owner wept, Noem repeatedly apologized, wrote the shocked family a check for the price they asked, and helped them dispose of the chicken carcasses littering the scene of the crime. Okay, so she's like a mafioso girl. Through it all, Cricket was the picture of pure joy. I hated that dog, she writes, adding that Cricket had proved herself untrainable, dangerous to anyone who came in contact with her, and less than worthless as a hunting dog. At that moment, she said, I realized I had to put her down. Noem also represented her state in Congress for 8 years, got her gun, and led Cricket to the gravel pit. It was not a pleasant job, but it had to be done. And after it was over, I realized another unpleasant job needed to be done. Incredibly, Noem's tale of slaughter is not finished. Okay, buckle up. I've never read this article in full, but I did hear about the dog situation. Her family, she writes, also owned a male goat that was nasty and mean because it had not been fixed, like neutered, spayed, whatever. Furthermore, the goat stank. It was smelled musty, disgusting, rancid, and loved to chase the children, knocking them down and ruining their clothes. Girl, do you know what goats do? You live on a ranch. The goat was stinky, so she had to put it down. Got it. She decided to unalive the goat the same way that she had just unalived Cricket the dog. But though she dragged him to a gravel pit, the goat jumped as she shot and survived the wound. She said she went back to her truck, got another shell, and hurried back to the gravel pit to put the goat down. Oh, Lord. Even if I was monetized on this channel, this video would be absolutely demonetized. Kennedy, the child, her daughter, looked around confused. Wait, hold on. At that point, she realized the construction crew had watched her unalive both animals. So she was in a killing rage. It was the same day. She took the dog. She went behind. She took it to the gravel pit. Pew, pew, old Yeller style. Then she took the goat. She said the construction crew saw the whole thing. Is she mentally okay? She went on a murder spree. They saying that goat killing was a ritual, obviously. Oh my God. What goat doesn't stink? They all stink. Why not just get the goat cat, fixed? But look at this. She realized the construction crew had watched her kill both of the animals. The startled workers swiftly got back to work, only for a school bus to arrive and drop off her kids. Kennedy looked around confused, the child. She said, "Hey, where's Cricket?" Her kids get off the bus and like, "Hey, where's my dog?" "Oh, I just put a blank through its head because it ate somebody's chicken." On Friday, so this is 2024, reaction to the news of her description of unaliving her dog and her goat included satire. The Barack Obama advisor turned podcaster Tommy Vietor calling the governor Jeffrey Dahmer with veneers is a reference to the famous serial unaliver and recent scandal over her cosmetic dentistry treatment. Oh my God. Put a 2 in the chat if we should look into that scandal. I didn't know anything about her cosmetic dentistry treatment. Should we look into that too? Should I click that link? Put a 2 in the chat if I should click that link. But most responses, particularly from dog lovers and people who hunt with dogs, simply expressed disgust. Rick Wilson, of the anti-Trump Lincoln Project, called Noem deliberately cruel and trash. Ryan Bousset, the Democratic candidate for governor of Montana, said anyone who has ever owned a bird dog knows how disgusting, lazy, and evil this is. Damn. Noem herself posted a screen grab of the Guardian report and an admission that she recently put down 3 horses. "We love animals," she said, "but tough decisions like this happen all the time on a farm. Sadly, we just had to put down 3 horses a few weeks ago that had been in our family for 25 years. The governor also said her book contained more real, honest, and politically incorrect stories that'll have the media gasping. In the book, however, she sums up her story about Cricket, the dog, and the unnamed, uncastrated goat with what many prove a contender for the greatest what may prove, as a contender for the greatest understatement of election year. Quote, "I guess if I were a better politician, I wouldn't tell the story here." Here's my opinion on this, okay? Here's my opinion on this. First of all, the goat thing is completely beyond the pale. The goat was nasty and mean and it smelled bad. And so she just murdered it. Okay, that's weird. But when you live in the country and your dog hurts a kid, it is very common, or the dog attacks another dog, it is very common that that dog will have to be put down. A lot of times, an owner will rather do it themselves. Now, I've never done this. I've never seen it done. But there's people in my family. If a dog bites a kid in the face or something, the dog's got to go. And it's because if you can't control the dog to not bite a kid, then it's a dangerous animal. So I could even see, under certain circumstances where it's like, all right, maybe there's a law, maybe there's a this, maybe there's a that. But then she gets to the goat. And the goat is a totally different story. The goat has nothing to do with any of that. The goat didn't hurt anybody. It walked on her kids. So what? Maybe they should toughen up. I remember distinctly being at a petting zoo and a goat tried to bite the button off my dress. And then guess what happened? They moved me away from the goat. The end. Okay, I want to see what's the scandal about her teeth. I did not plan on spending this much time on Kristi Noem, but now I'm invested. Governor Kristi Noem, this article is more than 2 years old. She looks fake in the face. She's got Mar-a-Lago face. You can see she has some filler migration, or she's wearing a mask. The eyebrows are like, everything about her entire face looks completely fake. What I will say though, her teeth don't look fake. Those don't look like perfect veneers. Those teeth look kind of like more like real teeth. Rumors she was cheating on him. Okay. Wait, someone just sent me. Okay, I got another thing too to look at now. Okay, cool. Those teeth, you see what I mean? They don't look like the perfect veneer teeth. They look like regular teeth, like natural teeth. Governor Kristi Noem sued over video promoting dentists who fixed her teeth. The lawsuit accuses her of not disclosing that she has a financial relationship with the company. Girl. The South Dakota governor. Okay, when was this article from? 2024. She was sued over a video in which she promoted a cosmetic dentistry company showing off work on her own teeth. Travelers United, a consumer advocacy group, filed suit in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, accusing her of advertising a product or service without disclosing that she has a financial relationship with the company. The aim, the group said, was to force Noem to make corrective disclosures on all social media posts where she promotes products or services. In the 5-minute video, she says, "I'm the governor of South Dakota and had the opportunity to come to Smile, Texas to fix my teeth, which has been absolutely amazing," she said. Saying her teeth needed fixing after a biking accident, she says she consulted Smile, Texas, a Houston company which advertises itself as official dentist of the Miss Texas USA pageant several years ago by Zoom, but she could not find time for an appointment. Having found the time and singing the praises of Dr. Brett Davis and Dr. Dooley, Noem says the company finally gave her a smile that she could be proud of and confident in, and she pursues her career in politics, where everything is speaking in interviews and giving speeches. She said, "I want people to look at me and hear the words that I say and not be distracted by something I'm wearing or how I look." Well, I got news for you. That right there, clown mask you got on, is distracting AF. All right, I'm distracted. I am distracted by the mask of makeup, by the crooked, deviated septum. I'm distracted by the drawn on eyebrows, the makeup that's bright yellow with the fake tan. I'm distracted. I'll say that. She said, "For me, being able to have a confident smile and have my teeth be something that's not a distraction, but actually is appealing to people will be helpful, because I think it'll make sure that we're focused on really the right points I want to make and make sure that the confidence shines through." I love it. But in its lawsuit against her, Travelers United said Kristi Noem is the governor of South Dakota. She does that for a living, but she seems to have taken up work as a social media influencer as of March 12th, 2024. Companies like Smile Texas pay influencers like Kristi Noem to promote their product or service to her followers, but sitting politicians typically do not work as part-time social media influencers. Residents of Washington, D.C., the suit said, could see Noem's video on platforms such as X, Facebook, Instagram, Truth Social, owned by Trump, and then fly to Texas for treatment. Noem, according to the lawsuit, made no disclosure that it was an advertisement or that she received any free or discounted medical procedures in exchange for the social media advertisement, which appeared to have been filmed at Smile, Texas headquarters. The suit also cited social media comments questioning why Noem was advertising a private company. Noem, the suit said, is a smart woman who knew that laws apply to advertising disclosure on social media, but she never fixed any of her posts promoting Smile, Texas. Travelers United would like to make clear this lawsuit is merely a lawsuit over the lack of advertising disclosure. Governor Kristi Noem has had many accomplishments in office, and Travelers United hopes that after correcting her social media posts, she continues to do her job of making her state even better. The suit asks her to be enjoined from advertising on social media without disclosing that she is advertising, and seeks statutory and punitive damages as well as payment of costs. And that was the drama with her teeth. Okay, wow, that is something. That is really something. So that's the saga of Kristi Noem and her bimbo-fied, sissy-fied, cuckified husband, girl. I mean, okay. So now what? We got a Charlie Kirk conspiracy theory. Okay. Since we're talking about politics, realms, and things, we'll go to next to the Charlie Kirk conspiracy theory. Again, this is a conspiracy theory, so it's not, proven or anything like that. One second, I just need to look. I need to look at something. Yeah, we are at 241 likes right now on the video. If we could get it up to 300, I would be grateful and appreciative. Can we please get it up to 300? We're at 241, so we need like 59 likes. Can we get it? Can we get it? Can we get it? Thank you. Okay, so I came across this conspiracy theory. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting way that this person's mind was working. Charlie Kirk wasn't pew-pewed with a bullet. He was accidentally decapitated with a piece of shrapnel from the miniature explosive in his microphone. Huh? It's a conspiracy theory, y'all. I'm not saying it's true. The explosive was supposed to blow out his chest and make the 3006 by the patsy a no-brainer explanation, an open and shut case, but it malfunctioned and hit his neck. This is why security immediately rushed to remove the devices involved. The security camera from behind him was removed. They literally stole his body. The leader of a foreign terrorist state immediately claimed it wasn't real and took so long for the FBI to locate the unaliver. The entire narrative was so obviously fake. Again, y'all, this is a conspiracy theory. I'm just reading it to y'all. I thought it was interesting. They knew it went sloppy. They had to rush to manufacture evidence to match the narrative. The explosive was purchased in May 2025 from the Accurate Energetic Systems plant in Tennessee in a deal likely brokered by Deputy Secretary of Defense Steve Feinberg and tested at Fort Hiawassee in the days leading up to Charlie's death. This is why there were pieces of glass in the van they hauled Charlie away in, and why they had to pour several feet of concrete over the murder scene. There probably still are remnants from the explosive on the row of hats that were in front of Charlie. Then they blew up the Accurate Energetic Systems a month later to cover up all the evidence and unalived 16 people in the process. Little known fact, the month Charlie died, Pete Hegseth bought that $2 million in lobster and crab, and the United States military spent $300 billion. That's the most it's ever spent in 1 month. They were already planning the ground invasion. The war with Iran literally started the day he died, and he was the war's first casualty. Somebody said, wait, that actually makes a lot of sense. Someone tell Candace. It's very interesting. It's very interesting indeed. So speaking of conspiracy theories, moving right along, Will Smith apparently told somebody one time he had to make a human sacrifice. Will Smith recalls the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air audition, claiming he was approached by masked figures and told he would need to make a sacrifice to reach fame. There was these men in masks wearing cloaks. I had to make a sacrifice. Now, there is a community note. Let me read it. Oh, he doesn't. Okay, so it doesn't even say that.
Yeah, can you set the scene for us a bit? So there's a guy named Benny Medina. Benny Medina is actually the real live Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That is a really cute jacket.
From Watts to Beverly Hills. He pitched me the show. I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. And he invited me to Quincy's house. It was Quincy's birthday after the Soul Train Music Awards. I was in town. I was just going to meet Quincy. So we go and he said, hey, did Benny tell you about the show? So yeah, Benny told me it's really cool. You interested? Quincy, he had been drinking a little bit that night. And he was like, all right, we're gonna do an audition. I was like, what? There were, a bunch of people in the room, and Quincy wanted me to do an audition in the middle of his living room.
That used to be how it was. I can't
do it. I can't do an audition. I haven't studied anything. And, he took me in the other room and he was like, okay, tell me what you need. I was like, cute, I need a couple weeks. I'm not even really an actor. If I can get a script and I can get something to work. And he said, oh, so you need 2 weeks. I said, yeah. And he said, well, what's going to happen in 2 weeks is Brandon Tartikoff, who's the head of NBC, something's going to come up in his kid's game and he's not going to be able to do it. So he's going to postpone. And he's going to need 2 weeks. So then we'll do it in 30 days. And I was like, oh, yeah, 30 days will be good. That'd be more. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And he's like, but then his right hand, Warren Littlefield, something's going to come up and he's not going to be able to be there. And they got to postpone again. And he said, but right now, everybody that needs to say yes to this show is sitting in my living room waiting for you to audition.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Like, it's actually pretty cool to hear like behind the scenes of it. It's like luck is when preparation meets opportunity. That's like a saying or whatever. Will Smith is a well-known, obvious Scientologist, so I can't trust a word that comes out of the man's mouth. I think that these people are all installed in these jobs. And you know, he would deny that he's a Scientologist, but did you know that Will Smith and his wife opened a school and they based the school curriculum on the teachings of L. Ron Hubbard? So if you're not a Scientologist, I have no idea why you would do that. But the reason I wanted to show y'all this was because it was like supposed to be cloaked figures, but a lot of the videos that I show y'all on here, I don't watch them in full beforehand because I want to kind of like react with you. I don't want to just be like, okay, I'm showing you something I already saw. But I guess they didn't actually say that. But since I have it, let's watch it.
Fuck it, give me 10 minutes. It was such a valuable lesson. It's like, there's very few things more powerful than fuck it. Fuck it.
Just leaping.
Just go. Yeah. You know, it's like you have the dream, the opportunity's there. Just go.
Just do it.
You know, and I was in his library, and it was like a Oprah Winfrey.
I will say, I love this jacket he's wearing. That thing is so cute. I kind of want one. Look at it. It's like these cool textiles of the pastels. It's really cute. That's a cute jacket.
Poster and a Michael Jackson 48 million sold, you know, and Michael was looking at me, he was like,
what you gonna do, Will?
you know.
If you close your eyes, are you able to see yourself in that 10-minute span?
It's like,
do you even like recall it vividly?
It's crazy. It's like a blank spot. It's a total blank spot in my memory.
He dissociated and let the demons possess him or something.
Of what I said and what I did. It was just a standing ovation. Everybody stood up and clapped. And Quincy pointed to the head of NBC. He said, "Did you like it?" And he said, "Yeah, Quincy." He said, "Don't bullshit me. I'm asking you, did you like it? You know what I mean." And Quincy had everybody's lawyers come to the house that night.
Wow.
He said, "I need a deal memo tonight." He understands magic, you know, and that's the thing about Quincy. It's like he knows that.
Okay, there's some really interesting things he said in there to me. Quincy understands magic, and also Will Smith completely blacked out and doesn't remember what he did. That was so impressive. Sounds kind of like magic to me. Hold on, let me see if I can find the Jada Pinkett Smith School, L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology. Okay, look, here's a Newsweek article. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith School was total Scientology, says former headmaster. This article is from 2020, almost 6 years ago. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith have long denied allegations that they are members of the Church of Scientology. However, the high-profile Hollywood couple operated a private school that reportedly taught them the controversial religion to students. In a Daily Beast report published on Monday, again, this was back in 2020, multiple teachers affiliated with the now defunct New Village Leadership Academy claimed the school was essentially a Scientology school. As noted by the Daily Beast, the Smiths initially used one of their residences as the base. So they used one of their houses as the so-called base for the New Village Leadership Academy. But in 2008, they opened the doors to a building in none other than Calabasas, where the Kardashian Bassises are. Kardashian-Bassis. So in 2008, they had a building for their school in California. Jacqueline Oliver, who co-founded and oversaw the academy for a year, told the publication that while she was not specifically instructed to teach Scientology, many of the teachers that the Smiths had working at the school were Scientologists. Olivier also said that she was asked to take study technology courses based on the teaching method developed by L. Ron Hubbard. They never mentioned Scientology, Olivier said of the Smiths, but I remember they sent me the L. Ron Hubbard books, and I didn't put it together. It just seemed like a great opportunity. Olivier claimed that she and other teachers at the New Village Leadership Academy were required to take classes at Hollywood Scientology Celebrity Center, as well as at Applied Scholastics, which is a Scientology-affiliated organization that is pro-study technology. As for the teachings at the Smiths private school, Olivier said that various Scientology practices were a part of the curriculum. Put a 3 in the chat if you never knew any of this. Put a 3 in the chat if this is the first time you're hearing this. 4 in the chat if you've heard it before. 1 second. Among them, she alleged, was tone scale. What is a tone scale? It's a method of analyzing people's emotions, and then also debugging, in which a person's, quote, barriers are supposedly broken down. Okay, so the things in the curriculum were Scientology. They did tone scale, which is how to analyze people's emotions. They did debugging, which is how to break down someone's barriers. There were pictures of L. Ron Hubbard on the walls. And in the study technology book, there was a picture of L. Ron Hubbard and a whole mini biography for his life. And that was the first thing the kids had to word clear. And that was the first thing kids had to word clear. I mean, it was total Scientology. There was no question, this former teacher said. Terms and labels ascribed to Scientology were also allegedly used on a regular basis, including labels like suppressive persons, which was deemed by Hubbard a person who intends to suppress, squash any betterment, activity, or group. Dr. Maria Pan Jawaharlal, an engineering professor at Cal State Sacramento, served as a guest lecturer from 2008 to 2010 at the school, and said he often heard teachers using words and phrases related to Scientology while he was teaching students. There were teachers, he said, there were teachers there, he said, who were constantly talking about building materials into the curriculum that were related to Scientology. There were teachers there that I met, and I couldn't even understand what they were saying. There was a geography teacher there, and I'm pretty well versed in geography, but they were saying some really vague stuff, this professor told the Daily Beast. There seemed to be an agenda. I mean, I'd sit in on classes and listen to these teachers, and they were using weird words that I didn't even know. Olivier, the former teacher, said that once some parents realized what was going on in the program, they removed their children from the school. There were a few parents who really got vocal. They were like, this is Scientology, and their kids left the school. Olivier said Will and Jada just didn't understand that nobody wants to go to a Scientology school, especially when you're not admitting that that's what it is. Back when the school was up and running before it closed in 2013, Jada Pinkett Smith refuted claims that the New Village Leadership Academy was an educational center built on the fundamentals of Scientology. So Jada, like I said, Jada Pinkett Smith has kind of denied and kind of sorry, I had to send a text message. It was kind of like she kind of admitted it and then kind of didn't. She said, quote, all I can say is it's not a Scientology school, she said in 2009. Now, if you don't trust me and you're questioning my integrity, that's a whole different matter. That is straight evil to think I would bring families into that educational institution and then try to get them to convert into some religion. Okay, so see how they play with words? It doesn't have to be converting into some religion to be a Scientology school, but that is how she is defining it. She is saying it's not a Scientology school because I'm not trying to convert anybody. Okay, well, it could still be based on Scientology. It could still be so let's define Scientology school then real quick. The actor further denied being a follower of Scientology in a Twitter thread in 2017, shortly after ex-Scientologist Leah Remini claimed she often saw Jada Pinkett Smith at the Celebrity Center. She said, I have prayed in mosques all over the world, but I am not a Muslim. I have read the Bhagavad Gita, but I am not a Hindu. I have chanted and meditated in some of the most magnificent temples on earth, but I am not a Buddhist. I have studied Dianetics and appreciate the merits of study tech, but I am not a Scientologist. See, one of these things is not like the other, is the thing, because you can go to a mosque and be allowed in, even if you're not a Muslim. There's certain things you got to do. But even if you're not a Muslim, they'll be happy to have you in their mosque. Same thing with Hindus. They're same thing with every other religion that I've ever heard of will let you go into their temple and not be one of them. But if you're in the Scientology Celebrity Center studying Dianetics, chances are you are a Scientologist. Pinkett Smith continued, I practice human kindness, and I believe that we each have the right to determine what we are and what we are not. So basically, they call anything, anything. Got it. Newsweek reached out to reps for Will and Jada Pinkett Smith for comment. They did not respond. So yeah, okay, that happened. That's interesting. Churches have lobbyists now. It's big corporate business. Yup. She had Leah Remini where they discussed it. Hey Siri, stop. Hey Siri, stop. Aggravating. Okay, like when Liberty University told me you don't have to be a Christian to attend, all religions are allowed, but then they force you to take Christian apologetics classes. Yeah, it seems like that. That's that. So that was that. We did the Charlie Kirk conspiracy theory. We did the Jesters. What else do we have here? People are getting kicked out of the DMT realm. Let's go there next. Let's do that. The weekend hippies are getting kicked out of the DMT realm, they said.
Did you know that you can get banned from DMT?
Really?
Dude, you got to look this up. There are thousands of people out there who are using DMT recreationally, and the beings up there basically told them, you are done and you're banned from DMT. And the journey stops right there in that moment. And the guy can take hit after hit after hit after hit of DMT and nothing happens. You can be banned from that realm or whatever it is. I think they call it hyperspace now.
In the culture surrounding DMT, there is a widely reported anecdote phenomenon called being locked out of hyperspace.
Hyperslap is what they call
Many
it.
frequent users report reaching a point where the drug simply stops working as expected, regardless of the dose.
Okay, so DMT, if you don't know, it's a very powerful compound known as DMT, but it's short for dimethyltryptamine. And people really be having experiences. I will say, I mean, I don't know if I should admit this, but I did do it one time, and it wasn't recreational by any means. It was actually the moment that I attribute to going from being an atheist to believing in God. Never in this lifetime will I ever not believe God exists again. It's because what happened to me when I was on DMT. But I did it one time, it was like 6 years ago, and I ain't doing it again. But there, you got these people, and I wouldn't recommend anybody do it either, by the way. If I had a time machine to go back and do it again, I don't know if I would do it again either. For me, it ended up being a very good experience, pleasant experience. Again, it was years ago. I did it one time, but it was like very conscious, I'll say. Like I wasn't, oh yeah, let me just take a hit of that. Like it was planned. I did it on purpose. I had someone with me, a couple people with me. The person who administered it was like a trained to do it type of thing, and he had done it himself many times. And so it kind of was like intentional and things like that, but it was so powerful. It completely dissolves any sense of like I. Like there is no I, there is no you. You're not perceiving things as a human or as anything. Like I had my eyes closed the whole time, so it really all just kind of happens in your mind. But apparently people be doing it all the time, and I cannot even wrap my mind around that. Is crazy. That has to mess you up. That has to mess you up. But apparently there's these like elves. They call them machine elves in the DMT land. You've probably seen pictures of them before, even if you didn't know that's what they were called. Machine elves. Let me show y'all what those look like. You probably seen them again, like in like kind of like trippy art. See, look, DMT machine elves. They kind of look like this. They kind of look goaty. Sometimes they look like jesters. All roads leads to clowns. Sometimes they look like that. And the supposed like realm that you go into in the DMT land has these machine elves. So I had already studied this and I was fully expecting to see and interact with the machine elves. And I didn't see not one machine elf. They didn't come to me. And again, like I said at the beginning of this segment, like I probably, I didn't know a lot of stuff I know today when I did that. And I would certainly not recommend anybody do it. It is sort of similar to, I would say it's a psychedelic. But hold on. Yes, apparently dimethyltryptamine is also something that is created in the human brain at the time of death or at the time of a near death experience. So it is endogenous to humans. We do have DMT in our bodies and our brains. We can make it. So, I don't know where they get it from. It can be synthesized from tree bark, but it has to be tied together with a blood-brain barrier of MEO, this, that, the other, a beta something block or something, this, that. I don't know about the science of it, really, truly. I should have probably learned more about it before I did it. But I will say there was, and maybe one day I'll tell you all about the whole full experience. It lasted about 15 to 18 minutes for me. My eyes were closed. Like I said, I wasn't wandering around. I wasn't at a party. I was like, in a safe environment with people I trust. And when I came out of there, I believed in God at the end. I mean, it was just like, I don't know exactly what it is. What is God? I'm probably going to spend the rest of my life trying to figure it out. But, yeah, some bad things can happen, but it's highly, highly psychedelic. Yeah. It's like, yeah, there's the next all roads leads to clowns is the DMT elves. But I really, truly do believe, honestly, like when you allow yourself to be like altered in your consciousness state, to be altered to such a degree, you kind of open yourself up to all kinds of vulnerabilities, including having mental breakdowns and psychological breaks. Now, thank God that did not happen to me. And I really do think it's because literally God was literally protecting me, probably in that realm going, bitch, get out of here. What are you doing in here? Get thanks. Bye. Like I got a couple little lessons and I got out of there, but people try to go back and do it all the time, like weekly or like every month, a couple times or whatever. And it's really crazy. Yeah. You're short when you're in it, but time also doesn't exist. Like it's impossible to describe. There really are no words to describe it. And I'm not even trying to say like, oh my God, like it was so profound. Like it could have just been like colors being generated inside my own little human brain. Okay. I'm not even trying to act like, oh my God, like it was the whatever. Like you could probably reach those states if you just like learn how to meditate. But yeah, the Billiken kind of looks like these little trolls, right? Well, apparently these people that keep trying to go back and go back and go back, they're getting met with they're getting met by the machine elves, and the machine elves are kicking them out. They're saying, get out of here. You're not allowed. Like, no, you can't come here. No, get. So I thought that was very interesting and funny. They kind of look like, I guess they're like little tricksters. Sometimes people see the great goat. This is kind of like a machine elf that people see. But the really crazy thing is this DMT like land or whatever. People have been seeing these. I didn't see no elf. I did not see not one elf. No elf did I see. The elves did not want to F with me. I'll tell you that. Do y'all want to know about what happened when I did the Gateway tapes? Should I tell y'all that? Maybe one day I'll tell y'all what happened when I did the Robert Monroe Institute Gateway tapes. I really think that something about I don't know if it's my genetics, my DNA, my neurology, neurodivergences. I don't know what exactly it is, but stuff don't hit me the same way it hits other people. And I don't know. I think I just have a really good BS detector. Yeah, it's supposedly released from your pineal gland when you die in the near-death experiences. But the thing that is like really inexplicable about DMT is people from across all cultures and all ways of life and all different types of, races and biologies and cultures and backgrounds and ages have reported very similar experiences when it comes to the hyperspace. And now all of a sudden, everybody's getting kicked out. All the people that have been so dependent on going into the DMT land, they can't go in there anymore. The DMT, they're like, no, you're wasting time. You're wasting my energy. Get out of here. Yeah, it's my Pisces moon. I know. Okay, yes, the Gateway tapes. Okay, I'll tell y'all what happened when I did the Gateway tapes. I'll tell y'all what happened. So first of all, let's talk about the Gateway tapes. What is it? Gateway tapes. You've probably heard before. You've probably heard before about how the CIA admitted that time travel is real and you can travel places outside of your body. You probably heard that before, right? And yeah, no, it was like, and I did it one time. It was one time and it was done. Okay, I haven't done it again. It was 6 years ago. It was before I even took the bar exam. It was a long time ago. But like, okay, so the theory of like, okay, like astral projection, astral travel, and all that with the CIA on declassified documents comes from this guy right here, Robert Monroe, also known as Bob Monroe. He died in 1995. He was an American radio broadcasting executive who became known for his books on out-of-body experiences and for founding the Monroe Institute. He researched consciousness and produced a gateway program to teach people how to go out of body. His 1971 book, Journeys Out of the Body, is credited with popularizing the term out-of-body experience and for introducing the ability to self-induce out-of-body experiences. This is a practice previously called astral projection to a large audience. It has sold around 1 million copies. Monroe's Institute developed a proprietary type of technology called, or a phenomenon he described as hemisync, short for hemispheric synchronization. And this seems like a Scientology word. Like, it was L. Ron Hubbard, his friend. That's what I'm wondering. Based on a finding from 1839 that when the brain heard 2 frequencies, okay, and it's very important, they have to go into your ear from both sides, and they have to only differ in tone by about 10 hertz. It's produced a third frequency that makes up the difference between the two, and it happens in your brain, and it overlaps your two. You know, your brain has 2 hemispheres. There's a middle part where it's obviously connected, and usually it's kind of like right brain activity, left brain activity, and this kind of makes your brain kind of sync up. So sounds really interesting to me, right? Like, this is when I was looking into this stuff years and years ago. I haven't done the hemisync. I haven't done the gateway tapes in years and years and years. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. But I did start to try to do them because I'm like, yeah, I want to sync my brain up, not only to astral travel, but just would be cool to be able to sync my brain up. I don't really need any help astral travel. It's very easy for me to just kind of like imagine a place and I'm there. I could read the receipt at the Trader Joe's if I wanted to. These are things I don't really say too much out loud, but this is the OGs here. So, you know, maybe I'm joking. You'll never know. Just don't, you know, if you're trying to put me in a conservatorship, this is a joke. Okay. I'm just joking. Anyway, for example, like if you put 170 hertz in one ear and you put 174 hertz in the other ear, the brain will then produce 4 hertz waves, which is theta waves. Hemisync was used to generate brain waves conducive to going out of body. These formed the basis of the Monroe Institute's Gateway, Guidelines, Lifeline, and other audio tapes. He was one of the founders of the Jefferson Cable Corporation, first cable company to cover Central Virginia. Okay, so this was the Gateway tapes, right? And they're available for free. It's all declassified, all that now. And so I'm like, I want to do the Gateway. I want to see. You know, y'all know me. I want to see. I want to see what's going on. I'll look at anything at least once. Well, not anything. I'll look at a lot of things at least once. So the way that the Gateway tapes work is you're supposed to do, they kind of, there's like a series of them. So you do one, then the next day you do the second, then the next day you do the third. And they say it takes several of these tapes before you can actually astral project or travel or whatever on average. I made it to the second tape before I got catapulted in my imagination mind or whatever into this realm, we'll say. And it was like a realm that we have all seen before. It was a black and white checker floor in the middle of the universe, in the galaxy. So you know how like in the 90s, they would have a lot of these movies where it'd be like, you're in the galaxy floating around on a little platform, a little plane or something. So it was kind of like that. Like when I looked out, I could see the whole, you know, not the whole universe, but I see a lot of stars. It was like black, pitch black, but with stars and like some, you know, Milky Way over here and that. By the way, I might have imagined this whole thing. This could be all in my imagination and probably is. Okay, just so y'all know. But that's what happened in my imagination. So yeah, it was like a liminal space. Yeah, and it had a black and white checker floor. And so I'm standing in this pretty much corridor and I could look up and around. There's no like really walls. It's like just the universe, but it's like a floating platform of checker floor. And on one side of, you know, on the right side, there's, I don't exactly remember. I'm doing this from memory, but like maybe I think it was about 4 doors, which were all closed. And then on my left, again, 4 doors, all closed. So these doors, it's like symmetry, you know, the Freemason architecture is all here, girl. We got the black and white checker floor. We got the 4 doors and the 4 doors, and it's 8, and it's all that. And they're all closed. And I just kind of knew that I could go into any of these doors. And if I open them, then I would be in a different place. So if I opened door 1 or door 2, these would lead to different places, different realms, as it were. I felt like I was maybe in a portal of some sort. And I'm keeping my eyes closed. I'm like, okay, well, I got a very strong fear. And I was like, I don't want to go into these doors. Like, it was given Monsters Inc. kind of thing. I look up to the end of the so-called hallway. Again, there's no door, there's no walls. It's just, we're kind of floating. I looked to the end of the hallway, and there were these 2 huge, like giant people, like 7, 8, 9 feet tall people, huge, 2 dudes dressed in black, like Men in Black vibes. And I look at them, and I look, and they like holding like notebooks or clipboards or something, and they're writing. And I'm like, these motherfuckers are taking notes on me. That's what I imagine. You know, that's what the sex source said. I'm riveted. Okay, y'all, this is just what happened in my mind. Okay, who knows? They might have induced these with the wavelengths or something. I don't know. But I'm looking at these 2 huge dudes. I might have been women, but they were dressed as like, you know, in black suits, and they had their faces obscured. It almost looked like, I've definitely seen it before. There's like maybe it's Mad Max or one of those type of like shows where it's like a kind of like a pyramid face shield, like a sharp angular face covering. So both their faces are covered, and they're taking notes. And I'm like, I don't want these dudes lurking, spying on me. So I walked up to them before I went in any of the doors. I could tell they wanted me to go in one of the doors, and I think they were going to take notes on where I went. And remember, this whole Monroe Institute thing is now in the released CIA. Like, the CIA is absolutely connected to the Monroe Institute. They used it to train Astral spies or whatever. And I walked up, and I was trying to look, but remember, they're really tall. I'm like 5'2". Okay. So I'm like looking up at these really tall things. I'm like, what you writing? Like, I'm kind of like the annoying little sister, right? I'm like, what you writing? What you taking notes on? What you trying to see? And they wouldn't let me see them, and they wouldn't let me see the notes. And I'm like, well, fuck you then. I mean, excuse me. I'm like, well, I'm leaving. And I just left out of there, and I never did the 3rd tape. So that's why I don't do that's why I don't do gateway tapes. Because I'm like, I do think there's something to that technology, but my conspiracy theory about the gateway tapes, based on my own imagination and my own what happened experience when I try to do them, it's like a very monitored realm. And yeah, people can astral travel, and they're taking notes on who ends up there. And then they're taking notes and looking at what you do and surveilling you the whole time you're in there. I really believe that. I said, what y'all doing over here? I walked right up to him. I said, what y'all doing over there? And then I asked the person who was kind of like acting as my like teacher or like my sort of guide or whatever through that time. We don't really talk anymore for reasons I can get into another time. But I was like, hey, what were those guys that I saw in the gateway tapes realm? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, well, I saw 2 big old men in black. They were taking notes. They had clipboards, and they wouldn't let me see their face. Who were they? Like, I said it matter of fact to him. And he was like, oh, they don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about you and what you're doing. That's the Watchers. I said, you didn't think to tell me about the Watchers before you catapulted me into the gateway tape? He said, oh, they don't care about you. That you're nothing. You're so minuscule to them. I said, baby boy, they might not care about you. They might not care about you, but they care about me because they were taking notes about what I was doing. So anyway, so yeah, the checkered floors were there. So y'all can do them. Maybe y'all won't end up over there. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And I definitely don't consent to being monitored and surveilled. So again, like I said, I don't really need any gateway tapes for me to be launching and projectiling myself into any stratosphere I feel like. So I don't know. Yeah, they don't care about you, but they taking notes. I'm like, okay, yeah, you busted. The Watchers are angels, girl. I don't know who they were. I don't know what they were. But yeah, we were just talking about the DMT people getting locked out of that world. Yep. Anyway, that all could have been in my imagination, girl. They might need to lock me up for schizophrenia soon. Just kidding. None of that ever really happened. Anyway, have I heard people talk about the gifted child programs in school? Yes, I have. I have several good friends who have had similar experiences with that. I did not do the GATE program in school because when I first started going to school, like at the age where they start to put you into the gifted and talented program, I was going to a small, like, private type of school. By the time I made it into the public school, all that had already been in place because they get you in the GATE program real early. But yeah, no, I didn't do all that. You are completely allowed to have an active imagination. See? Yep. We GATE survivors call it mall world, DMT realm, autistic hill, and grimy bathroom. Oh, girl. I do think I've been in the mall world. I've had the mall world dreams. Have y'all had the mall world dreams? I've definitely had mall world dreams. With the highway outside and the tubes downstairs and all that. They wanted to put your son in GATE. What I will say about my friends who have been in GATE, every single one of them, I asked them, I said, okay, knowing what you know now about gifted and talented, would you wish your parents didn't put you in it? And all of them say despite the negative effects, they're happy that they did the GATE program and they would do it again and they would put their kid in it. So take that with, whatever, grain of salt type of thing. And this, like what we're talking about right now, is kind of like what type of things I wanted to sort of like start talking about a little bit more on this channel, just like the live, it's all conspiracy theories. Okay, y'all, I'm not trying to say it's real and true, but there's a lot of compelling evidence about this GATE program and people having very similar, alarmingly similar experiences. So speaking of which, we're going to just keep it in the conspiracy theory world land realm. There is
Elvis is still
a new conspiracy theory, or it's new to me, conspiracy theory going around that Elvis Presley's still alive. Okay. And it's this guy right here they trying to say. So let's hear the new to me conspiracy theory about Elvis is still alive.
Elvis is still here. He's just a preacher now. Watch this.
Oh, Lord, my God. When I get old, consider the world I have
Okay, so they're trying to say that's Elvis's voice.
I hear rolling thunder. I pass then sing my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art.
Did y'all used to sing that in church? How great thou art, then sings my soul. Anyway, that's not the full conspiracy theory. That's just him singing. Where is it? Oh, okay. Here it is. Okay, Deep Web Slinger said, I just posted about Elvis, and there's so many people that just don't agree or can't wrap their mind around it. But think about it. What are the odds? Some strange dude who looks exactly like Elvis, sings like him, talks like him, same size as Elvis, has the same teeth as Elvis, marries Elvis's girlfriend, has 2 sons that look just like Elvis, and one of them controls the entire Elvis Presley estate. At some point you have to say, well, the odds make it impossible for this not to be him. Now, okay, I hear you, but this guy don't look exactly like Elvis to me. I could, see some type of resemblance, but this doesn't, like, I wouldn't look at this guy and be like, oh, that's Elvis. That's Elvis. You also can't really see his mouth. It's covered in hair, but I did want to just let y'all know that this looks like a different nose. I don't think that's Elvis, y'all, but it is a new conspiracy theory to me. Wanted to just pass that one along. I don't see it either. I don't really see it. No, it does kind of sound like Elvis, like in the singing, but like a lot of people sound like Michael Jackson in their singing because they were such huge inspirations and artists and like icons of culture that people wanted to sound like them and emulate them. I mean, Elvis was like the coolest guy on the block for years. So a lot of people are, y'all are kind of saying like, no, none of y'all believe it either. People are grasping. Okay, listen, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling y'all about the new conspiracy theory I came across. Okay, Palm Beach Pete. Let's go there. We're in conspiracy realm still. They discover Palm Beach Pete's private jet is identical to Epstein's. Does he have a... Okay, at this point, the Palm Beach Pete thing is like a running joke to me on this channel anyway. Like, I'm just like kind of telling y'all about the different things coming up about the Palm Beach Pete. Okay, the guy's in front of this could be AI. This could be a different plane. How do I know that's his private plane? How do I know that's his plane? How do I know it's a private plane? But I mean, it does look like Jeffrey Epstein's plane behind him. Palm Beach Pete, whoever that is, could be a total troll as well. Just so you know. This one is Palm Beach Pete. It says TMZ speechless after Palm Beach Pete interview. Okay, let's see what left TMZ speechless after the interview.
You know, it's weird whenever TMZ is left speechless after interviewing Palm Beach Pete, the guy who looks like Jeffrey Epstein.
Wait, hold on. Wait, in 2019, you're saying you lived in New York City?
Yes.
Oh, so you've been everywhere he goes.
All they were doing was asking Palm Beach Pete where he was living in certain years, and he was telling them he was living in cities where Jeffrey was living at the same time. Him granting this interview with TMZ is part of basically his world tour of trying to prove that he is not the man everyone is saying.
Morning, everybody. This is Palm Beach Pete. I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm just Palm Beach Pete. I'm so not Jeffrey Epstein. Hey, everybody. This is Palm Beach Pete. I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I'm Palm Beach Pete. I'm Palm Beach Pete. It's Palm Beach Pete. Nothing to do with Jeff Epstein. But I'm Palm Beach Pete. I'm not Epstein. I'm just Palm Beach Pete. Totally not Jeffrey Epstein. He's dead.
Has kicked off the conspiracy theory that was already going on about this man, but now they are comparing his dental records. They are comparing the wrinkles on his face, smile lines, the bags underneath his eyes. But his family is still saying, no, guys, this is just Palm Beach Pete. He is not Jeffrey. We just thought TMZ was shocked whenever they interviewed this man, but now they have found this man in the files. These two they are assuming is Palm Beach Pete, because in an email they said, saw your twin last night. My heart almost jumped out of my chest when I saw him. The similarity is unbelievable.
Whoa. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see that part. Oh my word. Okay, maybe that's Jeffrey Epstein's twin. Okay, and then there was a surgeon who came out and said, okay, this is all the surgeries Palm Beach Pete would have had to have to be the same person as Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so it's a 13-second clip. It says, incredible. According to experts, Palm Beach Pete could perfectly be Epstein, but he would have had to have surgery on his mouth, nose, upper dentures, and vocal cords to alter his voice. Makes sense. That's why Palm Beach Pete in interviews and videos always shows so many of his upper teeth. The AI sees it as possible with an 85% chance they're the same person. So again, this is more like a running joke, a kind of like, I don't know about all this, but it's funny because somebody went through the trouble of doing all the little surgeries he would have had to have. So for Jeffrey Epstein to be Palm Beach Pete, he would have had his, let me slow it down. He would have had to have his ears surgicalized. Let me do playback speed. Let's go 7.5. Okay, 13 seconds. Okay. So this is the ear surgery. Okay, so they take the back of your ear and your ear cartilage out and sew it together so your ears don't stick out as much. A lot of people get this surgery, especially if they have like one ear that sticks out a lot and one ear that's more flat. Then, okay, this seems a little less likely, girl. They took some bone out of the middle of his chin in the conspiracy theory. And more bone. Okay, they did braces or dentures. It does look like he has dentures on the top. Oh my God. Anyway, okay. So again, y'all, I don't know if Palm Beach Pete is Jeffrey Epstein. What I will say is I definitely don't feel like Jeffrey Epstein is not alive anymore. I think he probably is alive, to be honest. Okay, so last time we talked about cymatics, and I did want to just run this by y'all. What happens when your blood is exposed to music frequencies? They have been doing more studies on it. Oh, they've been doing more studies on it. So this, if you want to check this out, Matrix Bot, it's a 10-minute long video, so I'm not going to watch it here today, but it's about the effect of music on human blood. They did a whole study, and it can be used as healing, or for healing. Now, tell me if y'all saw the story about the judge that had basically popped off, snapped on the IT worker. TMZ and everybody's writing about it now. Okay. It's a Texas judge. Viral Texas judge has new beef after refusing apology over IT fiasco. So that must be Tony Busby's cousin. I mean, my God, look at this man. The Texas judge, going viral for all the wrong reasons, has now demanded that an attorney appear before him in court after the attorney suggested he apologize for being flat out nasty to an IT worker. So let me pull up the video itself so y'all can see the original initial interaction. This was posted by the New York Post on YouTube. This is a YouTube short. It says, hold on. Texas judge berates IT worker who helped him with a computer glitch in viral clip. A Texas judge was caught on camera tearing into an IT worker who came to him with a simple computer glitch inside his own courtroom. A viral video shows Harris County Judge Nathan Milleron losing his cool with the worker in a tense exchange over what appeared to be an audio problem. You don't have to go too far, the IT worker tells the judge as he gets up from the bench. You just joined from your audio here, right? Okay, so let's watch the video of the judge behaving badly because there's a follow-up.
No, it wasn't a false alarm.
False negative. Sorry.
Yes. Don't joke around. I'm serious about this. It was happening again.
I understand. I'm just saying I can't see it.
Okay, so this is one of those times where you just want to go, okay, boomer. Because it's like, it seems like millennials are the only ones out here that even know how to format a freaking PDF. No offense to everybody else, but like, we know our role, we know our lane. Millennials really don't want to smoke with y'all. You know, millennials are just trying to be out here and have fun and, you know, live our little 90s nostalgia and have our little babies and have our little weddings and just, you know, our little jobs and buy a house. Okay, that's really all most of us want. We rather get along with people. We rather be the hero generation. So the fact that this guy was being kind of like nice, he's like, look, okay, so just so y'all understand, this is not somebody here for court. This is somebody that works at the court. You know how when we're watching Diddy or we're watching the other trials or whatever, it's like people have to come in and fix stuff because the projector don't work or the audio don't work or the whatever. Like, okay, fine. I'm gonna tell you, I was in a thrift store the other day and there was this sassy boomer, you know, like this, like everybody knows, you know, like a sassy, you know, gay male boomer, you know, type of guy, and loved it. Hello, hi. But I'm like looking at the little earrings on the rack. You know, sometimes when I'm in the thrift store, I look through the jewelry just to see if I can find any real gold or real silver. Like maybe they missed it. Anybody else do that? Put a 5 in the chat if you do that. You're like looking through, you're like, oh, maybe somebody put a 14 karat gold ring in here. You see all these shorts on YouTube. Like I found a $1,000 ring at the thrift store. So I go through it. I'm looking for the gold. I'm looking for the silver. I want to see the gold. Shout out to the Birmingham Leprechaun. And so there's this like boomer there. And he's like, excuse me. And I know he ain't talking to me. I'm looking at the earrings. And then he said it again. Excuse me. I'm like, oh, he is talking to me. I said, hey, hi, yes. He said, this is telling me to press enter. And I don't even see an enter button. This stupid machine. Like he was so mad at the machine. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Let me look. And I walk right up to the machine and it's like the enter button's like right there. I was like, oh, it's right here. And I pointed toward it. I didn't press it. And he's like, oh my God, haha, so stupid, or whatever, you know, felt silly or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you know, us millennials, we know what we're good for, or at least we're good for something or something like that. He got the biggest kick out of that. I'm like, okay, look, listen, dude, you're the one that couldn't get the freaking ATM to work. So I go back to looking at the earrings again. Then it gives him his $20. And he's like, it shorted me. It shorted me $20. And I was like, oh my God, he's just screaming. And I go and I look, and the $20 is sitting right there in the tray. It's like his eyes didn't work or something. I'm like, sir, the $20 right there. And he's like, oh, ha, 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 I was just testing you. I was like, oh, well, I ain't a test. I ain't a test I failed in my life. And so we laughed or whatever. But it's like, like I said, millennials, we know our role. We know our lane. We know what we're good at. We know what we're not. Okay. Like, we're just trying to look at the earrings over here. Anyway, that was a cute little moment, little cross-generational moment in the store. And so this kind of could have been like a moment like that, right? Where it's like, okay, judge, Mr. Highfalutin, Mr. in charge of people's literally life and death, literally their entire lives. You can't figure out how to make your audio work. So the millennial has to come in here and do it. Clearly, this is a millennial. And he has to come in here and do it. He fixed it. He's making a little joke. And the judge is like, no, you're not allowed to joke. No joking. No joking. At my expense. I was going to pull your finger next time. Y'all are funny. I found a ring and an old pair of gloves at garage sale. See?
False alarm.
No, it wasn't a false alarm.
False negative. Sorry.
Don't joke around. I'm serious about this. It was happening. Again.
I understand. I'm just saying I can't see it, sir.
We're good. Thank you. Get out of my courtroom.
Okay, so that was the interaction, right? And it's like, oh my God, like, what the hell is wrong with this man? So then lawyers are coming out like, dude, like, you don't need to be talking to you. That's your courtroom staff. You don't need to be talking to people like that. It's rude. And it sets a bad precedent. Like, all eyes on you. When you decide to be a judge, like, you take on certain, responsibility. It's bad manner. It's bad manners. Sorry, I got a text message. I got distracted. So here is an article. An attorney came out and was like, dude, you need to apologize. Like, that's just bad manners. It's rude, especially in Texas. My God, they're like not like snotty people over there in general. Like, they get too close to Dallas and you might get some of that. But it's like nice people that are normal and down home. Okay, shout out to the Texas cousins. In the chat, he's utterly rude for no reason. He's supposed to lead by example. Exactly. Is there a petition to remove him? I'm from Harris County and I don't like this treatment of people. I don't know. Oh, you found $300 in the pocket of jeans. You got it at the thrift store. Oh my God, that'd be so nice right now to find $300 in the pocket of some jeans. Where is a YouTube channel? There is a YouTube channel about the judge. Huh. He's wearing the robe. He needs to apologize to the robe. He might be above him, but essentially they're coworkers, right? People joke. It's not like an alleged criminal trying to be right. These are like more like coworkers. Like, you're literally calling this guy in, and he didn't say anything wrong either. At the beginning, he just said false alarm. Like, oh, it was a false alarm. Like, you didn't really need my help because all of a sudden it was working. Kind of like that guy that had the $20 was there. You really didn't need nobody's help. You could have just picked the $20 up. And the judge is like, no, it wasn't a false alarm. And then the guy, he's trying to de-escalate. He's like, so false positive? No, this is serious. Get out of my courtroom. Like, shut up. Judge has a God complex. Seriously. Who all seen the leprechaun in here say yeah? Who all seen the leprechaun say yeah? Anyway, inside joke, outside joke, whatever. The Texas judge going viral for all the wrong reasons has now demanded that an attorney appear before him in court after the attorney suggested he apologize for being flat out nasty to an IT worker. We told you all about it. Judge Nathan Milliron, who sits on the bench of Texas 215th District Court, was rude to an IT tech who dealt with an issue in his courtroom. Instead of thanking him, oh, thank you so much. That's what you would normally see. Milliron demanded he speak to the IT tech supervisor, seemingly because he didn't like his comments about the problem. So then this guy makes this tweet. Don Keith, the real Don Keith. Watch this pompous, arrogant judge with his elitist attitude berate an IT worker who was trying to help him. Harris County, Texas Judge Nathan J. Million of the 215th Civil Court is facing criticism online after this video circulated on social media showing what a beep he is. Weasel tyrant, somebody said. He does look very weasel-esque. Look at him. Weasel, weasel. Put a weasel in the chat. Put a weasel, put a rabbit, put a little critter. Put a little critter in the chat that you think encompasses this weasel. Okay, so after the exchange, there was an attorney, James Stafford, who reached out to the judge via email. And he reportedly the attorney wrote to the judge, I hope you issued him an apology for the way you treated him. I hope you were just having a bad day. And this is not your typical judicial temperament. Have a great weekend. Well, the judge did not appreciate the note. And he shot an email back demanding that the lawyer appear in front of him in court on April 10th and accused him of an ex parte communication. Just to remind you, an ex parte communication refers to a situation in a legal case where one party communicates with a judge without the knowledge or presence of the other party. But the lawyer said, no, I'm not coming up here before you, stupid cuck. He said, I have no cases in your court, and I am simply expressing my freedom of speech as a voter. He reportedly went on and said the video speaks for itself and it doesn't need any explaining. Maybe you should send the video to the Commission on Judicial Conduct for their review. If they have no issues with it, then I offer an apology for criticizing your judicial temperament. You know, one person you really don't want to mess with is a Texas lawyer, because they're used to dealing with these Texas judges. He said, I'm not coming to fuck off. I don't have a case before you with your outsized ego. I can email. I'm not the little poor tech worker. I can email you as a voter and tell you that your piss poor attitude ain't shit and there ain't nothing you can damn do about it. The video isn't the only clip of him that has caught attention. He was also given the side eye online for rudely dismissing a defense attorney and eventually threatening to have her handcuffed for trying to speak. Oh, my Lord. Let's watch. I haven't seen this one. This is how he treats people.
Okay. Those are the overlapping stores between the stores outlined.
You're wasting my time this morning.
No, Judge. I mean, we have an overlapping issue in these two cases.
They don't seem to be that overlapping to me.
Well, we have the same parties.
You want to go to Jefferson County because you want Jefferson County jury.
Oh, I mean, Judge, we're the defendants in the case.
Okay.
We're they're the plaintiffs. We haven't filed either one of these cases. They filed this case.
Lien abatement is denied.
Thank you, guys.
We filed a proposed order, but I have.
He needs to be off the bench.
Briefly respond
You
about.
may not.
Well,
This hearing is done.
she's asking for a sanction.
Deputy, remove her from my bench now.
I'm looking up his email address in case anybody wants to send him a nice email with decorum, especially y'all in Harris County. Nathan J. Milliron, email judge. He's got a lot to say, and it seems like the people need to say some things back. Harris County Civil Courthouse. There he is right there. Little weasel rat. Little tyrant. Weasel rat. Watch him be the next one. Comes out as a bimbo-fied, sissy-fied, cuckified loser. Houston, Texas. His judicial phone number. This is public information. 832-927-2200. If you want to send him a fax, it's 832-927-2211. Again, phone number for complaints, 832-927-2200. If you live in Harris County, I really encourage you to let it be known, because this is tyranny. This is exactly why the whole Revolutionary War was fought, because these black robes and their white wigs were trying to boss all of us. They forgot they work for us. And then he tried to get the lawyer, you come before my court for the ex parte communication. That lawyer said, I ain't got a case before you, stupid cuck. I wish that I had a fax machine. I would send him a fax. I'll draw him a picture and send him a fax. Must be special powder in them wigs. Y'all are funny. He appears to me matched up the way he is crazy-eyed and sweaty and so aggressive, allegedly. Maybe he's on drugs. I don't know. If his dominatrix exposes him, it would be hilarious. Please, I'm begging you. If you are his dominatrix, expose him. Expose him. Okay. He was voted into his position and began a 4-year term in early 2025. He's got to get out of here. The president of Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association has condemned his attitude, saying in a social media post he treated the IT professional in an absolutely inappropriate and humiliating manner. There is no question that judges should not act like that. Indeed. Indeed. Okay. Well, hope he has the day he deserves today. I'll say that. Okay. Now, speaking of judges and court overreach, I wanted to tell y'all about this story. This lady right here in the hospital bed, American freaking hero. American hero. And y'all are going to see why. This was a video I came across my feed yesterday. Oh no, proposed community notes. Hold on. Let me see what the notes are. Okay, so this is from 2024, but it came across my desk yesterday.
Michael Khalil, I'm a circuit.
And the reason I sat through the whole 2 minute, 38 seconds is because of the caption. Look at this. New. Florida hospital makes a black woman in labor go to court over her refusal to get a C-section. Now, in this case, yes, she is a black woman. However, this is happening to women of all races, ages, nationalities, and origins in the United States. And so if you think they're only doing it to black women, they're not. Okay, but in this case, yes, it was a black woman, is a black woman. She was in a hospital having a baby. She said, quote, "I appreciate you spending 2 hours on a Sunday going through my medical history and fighting for my gina." Beep, gina. Okay, so this is a case that this woman, she's having a baby in the hospital. And she wants to have a natural, birth, not natural, but, like she wants to go into labor and give birth, as one does. The hospital wanted to force her to have a C-section. Imagine you go in the place that, these people work for you and they're trying to tell you to have a C-section. She handled this like a pro, like she's the lawyer. Okay. Wasn't no lawyer there for her. She don't even got on a shirt. She's wearing a hospital bed sheet and she wipes the floor with these people. It's egregious what they tried to do. And she's a hero for what she did. In my opinion.
My name is Michael Khalil. I'm a circuit court judge here in Jacksonville, Florida. The state of Florida has filed a petition for declaratory judgment. They're asking for an emergency C-section be granted by the court.
I have not had a chance to be able to consult with my own legal representation, and I'm trying to understand how you are taking my rights away as a patient to be able to decide my own care to give me an emergency C-section against my will.
Well, let me ask you about that. What about the risk to the child?
Anytime you go into
okay. So it does appear like they have cut out some of the hearing. And in a case like this, anytime that there is a situation where there's like a fetus or a child, then the state can assert what's called an interest in the life of the child. And, lots of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of pages of ink have been spilled on, does the state actually have an interest in the life of your child? But it has been shown, or it has been decided, I should say, it has been decided that, yeah, and that's how, CPS can take a child out of the parent's home or whatever. And I do think over the last decades, it has become more and more as a mechanism for the state to like control what parents are doing. Like they were taking kids away from their parents for not getting COVID vaccines. And now we learn about these COVID vaccines that they were actually not always what they were cracked up to be, for example. And in a case like this, so it's like they were saying if she don't get a C-section, then this child that she's going to give birth to could die. And the judge is like, all right, so what do you have to say to that argument? And she's like, honestly, I don't really know, because I'm first of all trying to understand how I could even be finding myself in this situation where y'all are trying to tell me that I have to have a forced surgery against my freaking will. But, and then she's about to explain in very succinct legal terminology, even though she said, I need my own lawyer. I haven't even had a chance to talk to a lawyer, but I'm trying to understand how y'all even, this is my right. What do you mean? Anytime you go into childbirth, into labor, whether it be C-section or delivering, the other way, there's risks. This is one of the most dangerous things that women will ever do in our lifetimes, is to have a baby. Like, yeah, there's high mortality rates, but listen to her legal argument. She's like, you worried about the unborn kid? Listen what she says.
To be able to decide my own care, to give me an emergency C-section against my will.
Well, let me ask you about that. What about the risk to the child?
Anytime you go into childbirth, whether you do a vaginal or a C-section, there's inherent risk to the mother and the baby. I have other children out here in the world that need me. If I die from a C-section, nobody on this call is going to take care of my children.
Period. You have a new doctor coming on. I don't know.
No, they don't have anybody African-American that they can give me.
Well, let me ask you. I don't know that. Then I don't find that race really has much to do with this, ma'am.
It does have much to do with it, because historically, Black people do better when they have healthcare providers that look like it. It's nobody Black in here. I'm so tired of this. I'm over this whole situation. Like, y'all are gonna make me have level 3 tracing. How bad y'all stressing me out.
Ms. Doyle, that's what's going to be entered. I'm going to circulate this order, this proposed order, to the other attorneys. Enter this in today, not requiring anything except for an emergency basis.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate you spending 2 hours on a Sunday going through my medical history and fighting for my vagina and my baby.
And when you look at the call, like, I do think there is something to be said for, and what she said is studies, history and studies have shown that if a Black woman has people who are Black on her labor and delivery team, then the outcomes for the mother are better. I haven't seen those studies, but I'll take her for her word, because she does seem to know what she's talking about. That being said, like, I personally can truly not imagine laying in a hospital and saying, don't you have any white doctors in here? Like, imagine like you're laying in a hospital bed and an Indian doctor comes in and you're like, ew, can I get a white doctor? Like, I cannot imagine basing my doctor's competency on their race. Like, to me, that seems racist. However, if there's studies that show this and say this, then that's something that needs to be acknowledged. I haven't seen those studies. However, all that being said, like, I only say that because I want to show where I'm starting and what the starting point is. Because when I look at this freaking Zoom call, these specific white people do give me pause. I wouldn't want them in my labor and delivery room either. What are all these freaking losers doing on a Zoom call on a Sunday, trying to force this woman, Black, white, purple, green, polka dot, or otherwise, to have a surgery against her will? Look at these nurses. Look at who is Chirag Patel? He's not white. He's Indian. Who, Meisenberg? Of course, we got to have a Meisenberg in here. What is going on? Of course, there's a French person in here. What is going on in the state of Florida? Why is it that the state of Florida thinks that they can tell everybody what to do with their body and their medical choices? That is very weird to me. That is very weird to me. That is very weird to me. I personally have not had extremely good experiences with white doctors either, if we're being honest. So, I mean, I don't like it whenever people base any medical choice off of like somebody's race. I think that's racist. That's my opinion. Used to be people would think like Black people had a higher pain tolerance than white people. That was obviously not true. Pain tolerance is individual to individual people. Now there's certain actual medical risks, like African American and African descendant people have a higher chance or instance of sickle cell anemia, for example. So there is like actually literally some differences that do need to be taken into consideration in a medical context. But why? We're so far beyond nuance on this one right here. He said, what about the health of the baby? She said, what about my walking around on the earth babies? Nobody on this call is about to volunteer to be their caretaker if something happens to me while I'm going under the knife. I cannot imagine, like, and this is why people don't trust the medical industrial complex. This is why people are giving birth at home and dying now. People are giving birth at home because they cannot trust the hospitals and the doctors to do just what they want to do. It's very crazy. It's very crazy. As a gay male, you prefer a gay doctor. I have no issue with people having their preferences, especially because there are certain things, risks, this, that, the other, that like maybe you don't have to like get all into it. That's just kind of understood. And I think that healthcare is such a deeply personal choice. People should absolutely be fully 100% empowered to say, I want a doctor that looks like me. That being said, though, y'all, it can't also at the same time be called racist when a white person says they want a doctor that looks like them too. If it's not racist if a black person says I want a doctor that looks like me, and it's not racist if homophobic if a gay person says I want a gay doctor, and it's not transphobic if a trans person says I want a trans doctor, and it's not sexist for a woman to say she wants a woman doctor, and it's not racist for a Puerto Rican person to say they want a Puerto Rican doctor, then it can't be racist for a white person to request a white doctor. That's logic. Argue with your mama. Don't argue with me. Okay. Now, me personally, I'm not going into no hospital saying I want a white doctor. I already told y'all I don't really have the best experiences with them. Okay. I don't have a racial preference of a doctor myself. But if someone does, I think it's such a deeply personal, you're going to be spread eagle and given birth. You should be allowed to say, I want a black doctor if you black. The judge is sitting there laughing at her. Haha, I don't think that's really a difference. Anyway, all's well that ends well, because turns out they did not force her to undergo this crazy surgery. And I mean, like, this is what the same state as the Florida Shuffle, by the way, the same state as the Florida Shuffle, the same state as the Baker Act, where in the Marchman Act, where you can just hire a doctor and pay them to lock one of your family members up for being a drug addict, even when that family member scientifically proven never took a drug, scientifically proven takes a hair follicle test and every single drug comes back negative. But the state of Florida will let you enslave someone temporarily by just hiring a doctor. I mean, we saw that in the Demore Hadley case. She had never taken a drug in her life, certainly not in the last 3 months. She did a hair follicle test, but still she was enslaved for 2 weeks or however long it was. I hear you, Brittany. It's not, there's definitely, it's not nothing to say. There are systematic problems. However, I think it's also just okay for, even if there were no systematic problems, for a Black woman to say, I would like somebody who knows about me and how it feels to live the life I live, how it's going to be when I have to go back home, who maybe has sympathy for me, because something that y'all don't really want to hear, there's a big narrative about the world being so sympathetic to white women. I can guarantee you that is not what's going on out here for all of us. I have had some of the most horrible interactions with police than my brown fiance. He is shocked to see how police have treated me. Shocked. And he wears a turban. So I think it is actually a misconception that all white women are just walking out here being like treated like privileged. A lot of times when I'm in the hospital or I'm in the emergency room and I'm crying, people are thinking I'm being dramatic. People are thinking I'm being overly dramatic and over the top. I've been sent home from hospitals and almost died when I was 19 years old because people thought I just had anxiety and really I had sepsis. So something that a lot of people also don't take for granted is, take into consideration is there is systematic not being believed with white women, because people just think we're just sensitive and we're just, oh, she's just being dramatic. Now, is it systematic to every white lady this or every white lady that? No. And I don't think every black person has the same experience either. That would be racist to assume. So I think it's fine even if there was no systematic anything for somebody to say, I want a doctor looks like me. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And especially in this lady's situation. And I'm proud of her. She's an American hero. Women in general are marginalized. Indeed. And there's also they think, Karen, you're a Karen. Anything we're complaining, the police know they can get away with it when it's against a Karen. Okay. But that is not to say there isn't systematic racism against black and brown people and there isn't systematic oppression against, LGBT people and stuff like that. I totally do. I know that to be true. And that's not okay. And I think if the least we could do is give somebody a black doctor, I'll say that. Okay. Medical professionals get desensitized to people in crisis. Yep. To the point of indifference. Yep. They push C-sections too. I heard somebody saying it the other day. They push C-sections. My mom sent me a video of 2 owls hatching. Oh, it's a live video. It's 2 baby owls in here. Y'all ever watch these videos? Look. Look like a chipmunk. Oh my Lord, they done killed the chipmunk. Why you sent me that? Got a headless chipmunk in there. See what my mom does to me on a live? C-section, huge factor in autism. Well, I'm not a C-section baby. Yeah, y'all remember the cure for female mania? No, I know white women who have been handcuffed to the bed and had to give birth being handcuffed to the bed, but it's like, I'm not trying to make it seem like, oh, poor white women. I'm just saying everybody has their own unique, hand of cards dealt. I'll say that. She's saying they so cute. It's a headless chipmunk. Why you sent me that on my live? Talking about that's so cute. They have a decapitated chipmunk in there. Okay, let me see what else. I thought, I can't open stuff live. People send me. That's why. Okay, James O'Keefe is facing a restraining order. Okay, he said, this is not an April Fool's joke. He said yesterday, I have to be in court 9:30 a.m. So James O'Keefe was the guy that got the exclusive pictures of Epstein Island. It does have a headless chipmunk. I just looked. We just all saw it. Just rewind this video. Body brokers run the world. They run their world. They definitely don't run anything having to do with my world. Yeah, they just tie people down. They tie people down. They lock you down. They cut you open. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Okay, so James O'Keefe is the guy. Remember, he got those exclusive pictures of Epstein Island like months and months before the other people had gotten it inside the temple and all that. He is the one who goes undercover and gets like the DC people to, admit to doing all kinds of stuff and admit to he pretends to be gay and he goes and he does dates with these men. It's just a bunch of stuff. He wears wigs and they somehow still fall for it. Well, he had this like business partner that apparently, allegedly, according to him, threatened to kill him. And he talked about it on his show. And then he got served with a restraining order. He said, this is not an April Fool's joke. I have to be in court at 9:30 a.m. in Miami at the below address to fight against a restraining order against my newsroom after reporting about this man wanting to kill me. By the way, it's a full moon tomorrow. Oh, is it a full moon today? And also Holy Week. Here's the restraining order. So here is him getting rolled up on in his newsroom.
How you doing? I'm James O'Keefe. Are you here to arrest me? This is insane. This is insane. There's a sheriff in my studio serving me domestic violence documents because the board member said he wanted to murder me. Something has to change, not for my sake, but for our children's sake. You know what I mean? And I know you're just doing your job, and I get it. I understand, but we're entering a constitutional crisis in the United States. And today I've got a police officer bringing me to court. You know, and I gotta ask myself, why am I even doing this? The sheriff is actually, come on in. Hello, sir.
How are you?
Are you with the police?
I am with the sheriff's office.
How you doing? I'm James O'Keefe.
How you doing?
Are you here to arrest me?
No.
Are you sure?
Positive.
We were hoping somebody gets arrested today. Are you familiar with our work here?
No.
Do you know what we do?
No, I do
We
not.
expose corruption in the government.
Oh,
We have a
okay.
tape today showing election crimes and people breaking the law. And people in California were forging signatures and they were logging into an online database.
Gotcha.
That's right. I've been served lawsuits like 30 times in my life.
Okay.
I've never had a police officer show up like
So
this.
this is not a lawsuit.
I have, because
Oh, what
someone
is it?
lied.
So if you want me to put it out there, I can.
Yeah, you can say who it is. It's
Okay.
fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Just say it out loud. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a temporary injunction. It's out of Miami-Dade.
Who's filing the restraining order? We're here with the sheriff from the police department who's at my office.
Matthew, and the last name, Tyrmand.
Matthew Tyrmand? That's the former board member of Project Veritas. What is he doing?
He's he filed a temporary injunction out of Miami.
A domestic violence document? The board member of Project Veritas has filed a domestic violence restraining order against me?
Temporary injunction for protection against stalking.
But he said he wanted to kill me. I should be getting a restraining order against him.
Okay.
This is like the reason I want to show y'all this. I don't know about this James O'Keefe guy. Okay. He could be one of them. I don't know. But this same exact thing happened to me. And it was because some lunatic who lied and said that I had stalked them, a stark raving lunatic who I have never spoken to, tried to get like a domestic violence section restraining order against me for online cyber stalking. I've never spoken to this person. Never spoke to this person. And I have a video very similar to this. I never put it out. I might put it out one day. Police banging on my door. I told y'all about it before. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Banging, very aggressively banging on my door. 2 police and a little intern came with them. Now, this is like, after I have been absolutely terrorized and stalked at my own house. Remember, they kept sending that mashed potato frontal lobe oath over to my house, the process server, even though they had my lawyer's email address, my lawyer's information, my email. Like they had many ways, but it was like they wanted to have this freak, this like literally looked like a hobbit from, not even a hobbit. A hobbit is generous. Looked like an orc from Mount Mordor on my doorstep. Okay. At 7:00 on a Friday or Saturday. It was like a Saturday night, 7:00. And this disgusting, infested beast was on my porch, surpassing no trespass signs, surpassing no soliciting signs. Okay. So all that had happened. And then after that, then I get these cops on my door. And it's like they're banging on my door. Kind of similar to this, actually not quite as nice as this. And I like the local cops, really, truly. Like, I ain't trying to have no smoke and no beef with the local cops. All right. I will call out every other cop but the local ones, because whenever I need to call 911, they need to show up. But this day I had it on my mind and I was like, oh, I'm not going to the door. I'm just not going to go to the door. They can stand there and knock all day. I'm just not going to the door. They kept standing there and they kept knocking. So finally, Prim goes to the door. He says, I'll take the papers. And I'm in there like, they're going to have to come in my house and get me. I ain't going to the door. That's why I told y'all earlier. He has a clearer and a calmer head. That's why I default to him in a lot of ways, defer to him in a lot of ways. So I'm like, I'm not going to the door. And he's like, come on, just come to the door and get the paper. They're trying to serve you a paper. I said, no, you can take the paper. He's like, there's cops on the porch. Like, you should probably come. So I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. I go to the door and they have these papers in their hands. And before I said anything, so I'm holding my phone. I walk up to the door. I got a video of this. I should put it out. Name and badge number. That's what I said. Name and badge number. Hi, we're here with the name and badge number. That's how I said it. So then he said name and badge number. The next one said name and badge number, and I'll point to the intern on the porch with him. I said, what about her? Oh, she's just an intern. I said, I don't care who she is. She's on my porch, on my property, and you're disturbing my peace. Who is she? And Prim the whole time is like nudging me, like, calm down. So, RIP headphone users. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so they're like, you have a stalking injunction. Somebody got a temporary restraining order. They're trying to get a temporary restraining order, whatever. You got to go to the court. You got to go. So then I start asking questions. Who? And they said, well, we all we have is the name. I said, well, who? What's the name? And they told me who it was. It's one of the degenerate freaks. Y'all know, one of those degenerated freaks. And so I was like, okay, well, I've never spoken to that person. If anything, I should be getting a restraining order against her. If anything, I should be getting a restraining order against her because she has terrorized and stalked me. And now with the full force of the law, my local police who I'm supposed to feel safe with, I'm supposed to feel like y'all are coming to help me. You're now treating me like I'm some type of common criminal on no evidence. This is just ridiculous. And I don't feel safe. Something like that. Shout out to the Serbian cousins. Anyway, speaking of the local officials, y'all, I have a very important announcement to make about my local news. Hold on, let me find it. Okay, this is a very important announcement. This is something going on in my local area right now, or, just recently. And I really, really want to show it to y'all. Okay, it's very important. It's very important news. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 until you hear this. Okay. This is a Princeton Police Department press release from 2 days ago. Princeton, Mercer County, New Jersey. On March 30th, 2026 at approximately 12:04 a.m. This is very serious, y'all. Lock in. The Princeton Police Department received a report of a suspicious sound coming from a garbage can in the area of Palmer Square. Patrol units responded to the area and met with Palmer Square management, who directed officers to the garbage can in question, located on Hullfish Street. Okay, so mysterious sounds were coming from the garbage can. Upon conducting an initial assessment, officers observed what appeared to be frayed wiring protruding from an item inside of the garbage can and detected a continuous high-pitched audible noise. Due to the unknown nature of the device and out of an abundance of caution, officers secured the area and requested assistance from the New Jersey State Police Bomb Squad. It got serious in Princeton, y'all. Members of the New Jersey State Police Bomb Squad responded to the scene and conducted a thorough evaluation. As a precautionary measure, nearby residences were notified and evacuated. And hotel guests at the Nassau Inn who were staying in nearby rooms were relocated to another area of the building. So let me just show y'all what area of town. I mean, this is serious. The Nassau Inn. This is maybe like 5 minutes from my freaking house. Look at this. Hold on. This is the Nassau Inn. I mean, this is just like let's see, can we get it on maps? Okay, where's my street view? Look, there's the inside of it. I've never been in there, I don't think. Look at that beautiful rug. Princeton has a lot of like stuff that looks like this like colonial, whatever. But like, look, this is where it is here. This is the area of town. There's Hullfish Street. How do I get the street view? I want to see the gold. Is it no street view here? What the hell? What the hell? Layers? How do I get to street view? Okay, well, let me just type in like downtown Princeton. Okay, this is kind of like the area. Okay, it looks like, you know, this type of thing. It's like, what do you mean? There's a what? This is like right down the. Remember when I went to that battlefield reenactment? This is where it was, the Princeton battlefield. So this is kind of like the area, right? It's like, oh my God, like there's a Hermes store right around here somewhere. Like this is like I don't live like in this area. This is where rich people live. But this is like the college, right? There's like the trails and stuff. So like, you know, so the Nassau and so I'm not even showing y'all here. Sorry. Look. That's what I was showing. These pictures. I was going through these. Look. See, it's like there's an Hermes store here. Somewhere like that. Look, this is what it looks like. So it's like, oh my God, imagine. There's like something like it could go boom. Look at these big old pictures. You know, this is crazy. It's like, oh my God, what do you mean? So let's get back to the press release. Allegedly Joy Miller. Unfortunately, I've already been doxxed. So, thanks to the stalkers who doxed me. So people already know where I live. So if I ever get killed, it's their fault. Anyway. So, okay. So there's Princeton. I don't live right there. I live close to it, but I live kind of like in a suburb to that, you know, that's where the rich people live. Okay. Listen, look, let's get back to our story of the press release. Okay. This is a serious thing that happened. Staying in nearby rooms. Okay, so members of the New Jersey State Police Bomb Squad responded to the scene and conducted a thorough evaluation. As a precautionary measure, nearby residences were notified and evacuated, and hotel guests at the Nassau Inn who were staying in nearby rooms were relocated to another area of the building while the investigation was conducted. After further examination, the device was ultimately identified as a battery-operated insulin pump. That had been discarded in the garbage can. The device was determined to be non-hazardous, and the area was deemed safe. As a result of the investigation and out of an abundance of caution, the Palmer Square area was closed to vehicle and pedestrian traffic for 2.5 hours. The area was reopened, and once the device was determined to be safe, the investigation was completed. Residents and hotel guests were permitted to return to their homes and rooms. The Princeton Police Department would like to thank the New Jersey State Police Bomb Squad, Palmer Square Management, the Nassau Inn staff, and the public for their cooperation and patience during the incident. The safety of the community and responding personnel remains our highest priority. Girl. Not the April Fools of it all, girl. The drama. At least you know they inform the public for their safety. Great new channel. Poor favorite April Fools. It seemed like April Fools. I was detecting the sarcasm, but I kept thinking I must be misunderstanding because she's talking about something scary. I thought you thought it was going to be a raccoon until I mentioned the wires. It's not an April Fool's joke. I think they really were scared. It was like, okay, there was like a hissing sound coming out of the trash can. There was a wire. I am glad they called the bomb squad, but like, this is the type of stuff that the local police are used to dealing with. So I can imagine, you know, they really thought they had some type of criminal whenever that idiot lied about me. Anyway, I won that court. That got dismissed. That fake restraining order got dismissed too. There's never been any court I've ever lost, and there won't be. And there won't be. I'm not going to lose in court. So, you still thought of the critters with the wires. Not ye old insulin pump. Literally, look, it's like out in this area. Again, like I don't live here. But it's like, yeah, imagine it's like a little trash can hissing and the like local, you know, the local boomers are like, there's something hissing in the trash can. These are really cool. These are like lions or tigers, Princeton tigers. Princeton University is very beautiful. Marked safe from insulin pump. Marked safe from insulin pump, everybody. I was marked safe. Okay, what else do I have? Oh, okay. I have this link. It's like open air hell prison dissertation on Google Docs. That's what I titled this link. Incredible post. His sister is at university and her dissertation is in Google Docs, all locked out. My son blank himself will say something having to do with pleasure in front of Gemini Live with the camera. And my entire family has now had our Google accounts banned in Scotland. Shout out to the Scottish cousins. He's 14 and stupidly decided to try and role play with Gemini using its live camera mode. The AI correctly identified that he was underage and Google banned all my accounts. He did it on the family tablet and he did it at her birthday. It has parental controls to stop him from watching inappropriate stuff, but we didn't realize Gemini wasn't covered by these. All of our entire family's Google accounts were linked to that tablet. Google banned all of them. Everything gone. 15 years of business, completely inaccessible. All my emails, all my documents saved in Google Drive. Even my website was linked to my Google account, and that has been locked down too. We've written to Google and begged for it to be reinstated, but they said all the accounts were shut down for child protection reasons. I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage in 3 months. I literally lost all my records for my accountant. My company year ends in May. My whole life is completely effed. Is there any legal mechanism I can use to get my Google accounts back? Girl. Somebody said the daughter is in graduate school and her dissertation is on her Google. I believe it's true. People are saying, is it April Fools? Justin said these kids bad as hell. They are. Oh, baby kids indeed. Oh my Lord. Anyway. All right. So, today I didn't really have any like central themes and topics to talk about. I just kind of gathered that list and we have come up to the end of the list today. So I guess I'm going to call that a day. If y'all, the internet is 99% prawn. Oh my God. If y'all want to help the cause, the PayPal and the Cash App and the legal fund and all that is linked down below. Really would appreciate it while I'm working on trying to get to the monetization. I do have enough, everything for monetization, but like it just takes a while to get approved and stuff. And it's kind of speaking of cutting into the bottom line, every little dollar, every little $5 counts. And that's all I really had for today. I will be back very soon. My mom is saying that there was no headless chipmunk, but I'm going to have to look. Later. It looked like a headless chipmunk to me. I'm going to have to go back and search the headless chipmunk. But my mama said there's that ain't what I saw. That ain't what I saw. Yes, those are cute. Yes, Mom, those are cute. Baby owls. But that ain't what I saw. I saw a chipmunk. I'm going to have to go back and post it. She did send a headless chipmunk. But here, she also sent baby owls. Look, there's cute owls. Look how cute they are. Look at them. Just sleeping. Look at the little beak. Look at the little beak. That is so cute. That is so cute. Anyway, that's all I really had for this one. In the meantime, opinions ain't defamation. Facts ain't defamation. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And see you in the next one. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.